that phrase? What phrase? Check. Check. So you better run a
So come on and check yourself before you wreck yourself. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Yeah. Come on, check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Jiggy check. Yeah. Jiggy check.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Come on and check yourself before you wreck yourself. So check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Motherfucker.
Better run a check.
So check yourself before you wreck yourself. So check yourself before you wreck yourself. Come on and check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Cause bitches like you is bad for my health. Yeah. Jiggy check. Bump. Yeah. Jiggy check. Yeah.
So check yourself before you wreck yourself. So check yourself before you wreck yourself. Come on and check yourself before you wreck yourself. So check yourself before you wreck yourself. So check yourself before you wreck yourself. Come on and check yourself before you wreck yourself.
We mix old school tip. Yeah. It's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how I keep from going under. Mix old school tip. Yeah. It's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how I keep from going under.
Boom, baby. Yes, I was tardy tonight, guys. Anything that could go wrong did go wrong for me. You see these lights behind me here? It was not easy getting these suckers up. Anyway, I definitely could have used an extra hand, but I didn't have one. And I was determined to have them up for the show. So I hope you guys like them. Anyway, I'm really excited about tonight's show. I have a special guest tonight, and if some of you have been around for a while with my channels, you know that I used to do a lot of shows with Brian. We used to talk all kinds of Mandela effect stuff. And, we kind of went different directions. I'm super interested in the Mandela effect. That's never tapered off for me. However, doing shows about it has tapered off for me. And I'm really excited to get back into this conversation with Brian and have him back on. He was on like 3 channels ago, but, the first time being on this new channel. So let me bring Brian on here. And are you there? There you are. What's up?
Howdy.
How you doing?
New here. I'm new here.
Yeah, you look new. I see you got your Dose of Reality shirt on. I got my True Seeker 69 shirt on.
Yeah. Does this shirt make me look fat?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I would go with black with the dose of maybe.
Because if I look fat, it's not because I'm overweight. It's because of the shirt. So.
Yeah, it couldn't be anything else but the shirt. Well, we have another guest with us tonight. He's not in the title. It's kind of like a surprise for you guys. We're going to have a little getting the band back together kind of thing happening tonight. We got CFM with us tonight. Welcome, CFM. Glad you can make it.
I don't know if you can really call it a surprise when the guy puts a promo video out on his channel.
He did do that today.
Wasn't I supposed to? You told me it wasn't a surprise, Jen.
Well, no, I hadn't mentioned it really, and it wasn't in the title, and I did kind of forget that you put that promo up today.
You told me to put up a promo.
Today, nobody had no idea. This has been planned for 2 weeks now.
Anyways, surprise. So yeah, hi Brian. And my shirt looks fat just because I'm fat. No, that's
I agree.
Oh, nice.
Oh God, you guys. See, it's like we haven't skipped a beat.
No. God, it's been a long minute since we've been on the screen together. It's nice.
Yeah. I was telling everybody recently, Brian, that if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't even be doing live streams. It was you and coming on your show and calling into your show and getting into your live chats. Your show was actually the first show that I'd ever caught live on YouTube. I was not like a live on YouTube subscriber to people and stuff. And when I heard you on Richie from Boston, I was like, I got to figure out who the hell this guy is. I really like the way he thinks, the way he talks. He just puts it out there, and you had this arrogance about your truth, all the facts in line, boom, boom, boom. You shut everybody down. And then your Boston accent on top of it. It was like, that just had me right there. So Richie from Boston is how I got to you. You remember that show you did with him?
Yeah, I do. It was in the spring of 2019. I do remember that because obviously I got a lot of new followers from that because at the time he had such a huge platform.
Yep.
Hey, the first thing I ever saw from him was your the continents had moved. And I just looked in. I was just starting the Mandela effect train, figuring that, what's going on. And then that video came on. And I said to Jeannie, I'm like, hey, check this guy out. He thinks everything's moved. And then you proved it. I was like blown away. It's like how I got into flat earth. I wanted to disprove it and I couldn't, and then then we ended up there. And then, of course, I called in just like she did on your live stream and stuff. And that's where I started with you got my channel starting. So yeah, he's got that origin story with a lot of us.
What I loved about I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying cool. And that's funny. That video is the only video of mine that, and I don't know, maybe other videos did go viral and who knows, and they just lied about the numbers, right? But that's my only video that ever got close to 100,000 views is that geography video.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a 15-minute video, just the basics. It's like, dude, South America is in the wrong fucking position. Hello. It
was so weird. You're blowing my mind. And of course, she's doing it from that room that had a sheet on the wall. And you had
everybody would get on him about that thing. I think Carla Redpill sent you a whole curtain set, didn't she?
I miss your dog. I remember how beautiful that was. And he couldn't even get on the bed. And you're like, sorry, everyone, I got to go pick up my dog. And he put him on the bed.
Yeah.
Yeah. He couldn't walk. He couldn't walk well near the end at all.
Yeah.
I have to say, what really drew me about, it's not your personality. It's not like a YouTube personality. You are how you are on camera and off, because I've met you in person. And a lot of people, say that about me when they meet me. They're like, you're just the same way you are on camera as you are in person. It's not like, we change or anything off camera. You have a way, and always had a way, of spitting truth out and shutting people down who we would normally have a difficulty trying to keep our position, and they're coming at you with all this, you're crazy, you don't know what you're talking about, this, that, and the other thing. You would always just hammer it home, and that's what I really loved about you. And that's it always gave me that extra confidence, even just to go live, you know what I mean? It was I want to do this. I can do this. I was on your show, I don't know how many times, and I'm like, I can go. And then you talked me through it and got me through it and everything. And like I said, if it wasn't for Brian Staveley, I probably still wouldn't be live. I'd just be doing car rants.
And Jen, we can also say he taught me how to work these machinery. I'm on Rockfin because I didn't even know it existed because he told me about it, and Rumble and all these other ones. And there's still more and more that I can't keep up with. But yeah.
Yeah. I was listening to your show the other day, Brian, and you rattled off 20 different sites that you were you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I mean, when I was listening to you before, I was like, maybe you had a couple other ones and you kept trying to get everybody to go over there. And now you're like, we're here, we're there. We're like, oh my God.
Yeah, I'm streaming everywhere.
Yeah. You were always good at all that technical stuff. If you ever have a problem and you can't link up or do whatever, just call Brian. He'll talk you right through it. All right, guys. So, leading into this Mandela effect stuff, it's been crazy, and I've seen things like the South America, what you guys were just talking about, is like an incremental thing, like, did you ever make a video about South America and then go back and it's like, oh shit, it's even further and now I gotta make a whole new one? Or did you do it all in that? I didn't see that video, I don't think.
No, I didn't like have to go back and redo it. But I did do that geography thing twice. I did another one later on, a couple of years later, like a 45-minute video where I went back into it and maybe added a couple to the list. Because let's not make no mistake about it. There's like thousands of geography changes. It's not just the 5 that I talk about in my video. Yeah. I'm just not an expert on geography, and I don't want to mistake and misrepresent the Mandela effect. So I'll leave that up to people that know geography better than I do.
But that Panama Canal thing, that was huge. It's hard to just.
And that's another one.
I was just going to say, we're talking about the 2 things that really woke me up to the Mandela effect. Like, first it was the Berenstain Bears, then a few months went by and it was literally JFK and geography. So this is like the big shit that really got me to realize this is like some serious business.
Mm-hmm. I remember when you had me on for my awakening video on your channel. And it was like, I think my first time being on camera. That was, I've never live or anything before. Anyway, it's funny to watch that, go back and watch it. But you were asking me about the Mandela effect and like what got me and everything. And I think that the reason we see so many across the board, from the mundane to the absolute crazy ones, it seems to be like there's something for everybody. That one that's going to get them that anchor one. Like some people it's Dolly's braces. For other people, it could be, who knows what. But for me, it's the JFK.
For Nathan Sanders' sister, it's Imodium AD diarrhea medicine.
What? I remember him saying that. That's all I could take. But see,
wait, what's the change on that? I don't even know this.
The spelling, because it used to have 2 M's and now it has 1 M. And obviously, like, Nathan's very well versed in speaking about the Mandela effect, and he couldn't get his sister on board for all these years. And then one day she noticed that the spelling of that fucking medicine had changed in her, and she has it like in her purse, and now she knows that the Mandela effect is real. So it goes to show you, like, none of them are insignificant, because think of how insignificant that Mandela effect would sound to somebody, but none of them are. Physical matter is retroactively changing all the way back to its origin point. Kind of a big deal, Yeah.
And I feel that's why it's happening across the board. Of course, I believe that it's happening for a reason, and across the board it's happening because it's where people are looking. Like you said, that one insignificant change to other people was huge to her. Right. And everyone, even if they dismiss and they try to debunk whatever they want to do, there's every single person has one they can't, explain away.
And it's interesting too that for me, it's profound what's happening. It's a huge red flag in my book for humanity. And it is for everybody here, because there's something that's going to get somebody's attention. Anybody. It could be Muslim, whatever, Christian, atheist. It doesn't matter. You're going to see it. It's going to get you at some point.
Your favorite song changing, an obvious song. I mean, look how obvious the Lamb Chop song is. I brought that up on that interview the other day. And that guy didn't know. It's the song that never ends. And now it's the song that doesn't end. It's like, it's such an obvious change,
Right. And that will probably bring somebody over to the realization, something, even like the, what was the one that, It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. I can't even think of his name right now.
Yeah. Well,
Mr. Rogers. Yeah.
That one. That really gets me. But each person I feel, like I'm just saying, is like the JFK thing was just, it stopped me in my tracks. It was like, I heard of a couple of Mandela effects. It was still pretty new. The Berenstain Bears was still a big thing that was happening. It was like, everybody was just talking about that. And I just knew that wasn't right, but it didn't hit me. It was like, whatever. I don't even know what you guys are talking about. Maybe they're talking about just this one thing, the Berenstain Bears. And then it was like a couple other people that I was subscribed to must have started talking about it. And since they brought it up, I was like, oh. And then somebody had said on one of these people that I was early subscribed to, there's 6 people in the car with JFK. And I'm like, what? I like stopped everything I was doing. And I'm like, I looked it up and I'm like, no, just no. I mean, it really like messed me up for a minute. And I'm just saying, like, I feel like this is a big red flag for humanity. Something's coming, and this is like the precursor to it. You know, it's clearly supernatural in nature because it's not.
Because it defies the laws of what we think we know about the natural world.
Well, that's because we've been lied to about the natural laws and everything. So this is another thing as well. And given the fact that it could have been,
so it's not actually not supernatural. It's just natural. It's just
exactly. This is natural. We don't know the true nature and the fabric of our reality. They know the shape of the earth. They know how big it is. They know how deep it goes. They know what's going on beyond the dome and all this stuff like that. All this stuff that I talk about, they know all this stuff, right? But they're not going to tell us, and they're going to want us to be like, you know, in the dark about it. They can't stop the Mandela effect. So what do? They blame it on CERN, right? They steer you away.
Yeah.
We're going to
that's level 2. That's level 2 of the gatekeeping. The first level of the gatekeeping is trying to convince you that your memory sucks and everybody's just misremembering.
Exactly.
And then if you get past that, if you get that one, even if it's a JFK or Berenstein Bears or whatever, you're like, no, I know the Monopoly man had the monocle 100%. Then it's CERN. Then it's D-Wave computers.
Exactly. And I love the way you explain that too, because it's really important. We get so wrapped up in this bickering back and forth, you know, in person with people, and also, you know, between channels and stuff. I remember early on, there was a lot of people who wanted to poo-poo the Mandela effect because straight out the gate, most people figured out that you could probably walk up to somebody, you know, do whatever, and they'll be like, you know, you cheated on me or whatever. They're like, you know, I don't know what you're talking about. I never did that. Like, you know, like it's a Mandela effect. You know, you can lie your way out of anything now. Just blame it on that. And that's actually not what happened. What happened was, you know, people were starting to get freaked out by the changes, but, you know, a lot of people just didn't want to deal with it, I guess.
Right.
Because
well, you know what? It changes you. You look at the world completely different, and then you have to make this choice that we've all made. Either you talk about the changes or you stifle it and you live like the rest of them and pretend it's not happening. But for me, it's like that movie Matrix. Once you can't eat that fake steak once you see that it's fake. I can't keep living that lie. And especially the worst ones are the ones that are Bible thumpers that tell me it's not changing and call me a heretic because I go over the changes. You know, since we've talked, Brian, I read the Bible, as you know, like daily, and I have so much now. And I only read the KJV. So I'm seeing the changes. Like Jen said, it's a brick to the head when something changes, you know, and they deny it. And they're deceiving that way 100%.
Well,
most of the people this is what I always say. Most of the people that deny the Mandela effect, when I talk about that, I mean, people that have seen this type of information and these types of topics on these types of platforms, right? People that deny it at this point, I think 8 out of 10 of them know that it's real and they know that they're lying. I think 2 out of 10 might not understand it or might honestly think it's a psyop, and obviously we know they haven't really dug into it. But I think 8 out of 10 of them, especially content creators and stuff, they know. And
the pastors that are repeating it the wrong way, I don't think actually read the Bible like they say. I think they read certain passages and they put together a sermon, but they're not in it, so they don't see the changes. They don't recognize it.
I don't see how anybody cannot see the Bible changes. Even the verses that I don't know, and you read it and you can just see that it's wrong. You know what I mean? It's grammatically incorrect. It makes no sense. It sounds
where's all the wolf people? Like, seriously, if I approach 100 people, fucking 100 of them are gonna tell me it's the lion. Where's all these wolf people at? They're hanging out with the magic mirror motherfuckers, I guess.
All these people got lion and lamb tattoos. You know, that other saying, judge not lest ye be judged. They got those tattoos. You know, is everybody getting it wrong? Everybody's misremembering. Suddenly it's definitely
right about the time we stopped doing streams with you. That's when I got this book, Brian. Remember, you can't see it through the green screen, but it's this huge Bible.
And this Bible's got so many crazy things.
Yeah, it's got one page of the Lord's Prayer in the scriptures that now says debts and debtors. It's got another page that says trespass on earth, and another page that says trespass in earth. So it's got all 3 different ways, all in the same book.
And one page has like two ways on this. One way up here, and over here it's like the other way.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. So
And it's
where are
from
the deniers?
18
Can you explain that to me, deniers? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, this is like one of the things I talk about. So check this out. Like, it's not like there's anybody on the outside looking in. So, like, for instance, an example that I've been given lately is like, it's not like the three of us and everybody in the chat got on a bus and went to some like haunted building and had some supernatural experience. And we're trying to tell everybody we had this supernatural experience, and it's on them to trust our testimony or not. No, this is different because everybody's on the bus. Everybody's on the bus in this reality, experiencing this because everybody's Mandela affected. So none of them are on the outside looking in. So they're just lying to themselves.
Yeah,
It's true.
well, this is another thing too, because you're going to have every level in humanity. You're going to have the extremes over here. Everybody gets it first right away, like the first wave. Then you get the other ones that come in later, and then you get the complete deniers over here and got too much busyness going on in their lives to even think about that crap. You know, they don't see the significance of it because they're too busy being of the world, you know, because this is what this world does to us. And I've had so many people over the years over all these different topics say, I'm just too busy. I don't have time to look at it. I burn a CD and hand it to them and like, just watch it. It's an hour and 10 minutes long. Just watch it. And I'll be like 3 months later, did you watch it yet? No, it's still on top of my counter. I haven't gotten to it yet. I'm like, whatever. You know, you can lead a horse to water, that kind of thing. But remember,
So like someone said in the chat, wineskins the bottles and they weren't even invented. I mean, why can't that wake everyone up?
right. I see that's what everybody comes in and starts bickering because we've been led astray from where we're at. We've never been told where we're at and what's coming. You know, it's like somebody knowing you're about to get murdered and they're walking you down the freaking back alleyway telling you everything's great and, you know, we're going to get in the car and go home or something. Yet they know at the end of the alley you're going to get axed. Yeah, I don't know.
It's quite an analogy.
I know, right? I'm
A little scary, but yeah.
I'm really happy to have you on, Brian. It's just like been so long, and you know, nobody covers the Mandela effect like you. I mean, nobody covers 9/11 and all that other stuff, but the things that we even have come up with, you and I, when we did shows together, like the German stuff, is crazy. All that Black Tom stuff, the Germans are all over everywhere. They're in your backyard.
There's tons of Mandela effects tied to German stuff.
Yeah,
it's wild.
I think we live the man in a high castle. I think we lost to Germany pretty much. It seems that way.
There are a lot more people just recently starting to finally talk about this topic. Even if the deniers, they have to address it because just too many people are talking about it.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing.
Yeah.
I was able to go on an interview the other day and you know, I hear, oh, these guys know about the Mandela effect. Yeah. And then we show up and it's like, you know, just melting minds because people have like we're going through the show and eventually I started to show some name changes on the screen, you know, like LaToya Jackson, Robert De Niro, where their names are spaced apart now and all this crap. And they're like, I had no idea people's names were changing while they're still alive. And we're like, yeah, dude, that's like this is deep. This is much deeper than some books and some brands and some products changing. Even though, again, if any physical matter changes its form all the way back through the fabric of time, that's pretty deep.
Yeah.
But we're talking about the land masses of the earth are in the wrong place. The fucking engines are on the fucking falling off the fucking wing. I mean, that's the Mandela effect. Like if you can't see there's something wrong with reality now, when the freaking engines are not where they used to be on commercial airliners, and not only are they in the wrong position, they look completely unstable and like not safe at all.
They look like they're about to fall off.
You and I had to take flights, remember? And you're like at the airport filming. I'm like, I'm not getting on this sketchy plane. You know, it's like, what's wrong? The brackets were really thin, and then they beefed up as time went on because they went out further. It's like crazy changes to the airplane. And also, with those changes, there's like a million other changes that are going on inside this wing. The wing does stuff that the wing never did before. You can
really loud and all these slats that are open and all that.
Exactly.
All this shit.
I told DJ, I was talking to her. I said, because it's been a long time since she flew, and I've been on these planes, and I told her, I said, I hear noises on these planes that I've never heard before, and it's, I'm like, that doesn't sound good. Meanwhile, the wing is over here bouncing around, and this fucking huge engine's hanging off of it.
And if you're on American Airlines, your pilot has a tie tack on that has a red stripe under the blue flag.
That's funny.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to get into this JFK stuff, guys. I am going to start off with a little video that when I went to visit Ceiling Fan Man and Jeannie in Seattle, we ran into some vets in a little restaurant that we were in. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of known for asking retired vets because they really remember this whole JFK thing and everything.
That's kind of how you started on your channel, if I remember with that, really. That was your big push.
And I used to ask everyone I would come across, and record it, how many people were in the car, give me as many details as you can. And, they would go into the whole thing and where they were. And, they got the news clippings at home and all this stuff. I'm like, okay, they always would say 4. And they would usually get the people right in the car. Some would say 3 once in a while. I would never get 5 or 6 from regular people.
And just to add to it, you're talking about, I remember because I've watched just about all your videos on that. You've done like 500 of these. Like you've approached like 500 of these people, not like 15 or 20. Like it's a ridiculous number.
Yeah, there was a couple I came across twice. He goes, the one guy says, I think you asked me this question before. I said, probably did. And, they're really intrigued because they're like, how vets are. They remember this war stuff. And, because that led right into the Vietnam War, all this stuff. This whole thing is just crazy with the JFK stuff.
And it's interesting. It's like what Brian said when he asked people, he never gets a lion, a wolf. He always gets a lion and a lamb. And all the people that you've asked and I've asked, they like the 4 that you're going to show or the 3 guys that they immediately have the 4 fingers up. Like it's not even a question.
Yeah, I have them answer us in such a way that they have to put their fingers up, like no conversing. I don't want them to hear the other person say their answer and then they're like, okay, yeah, it's that. Because sometimes the cognitive dissonance, kicks in and suddenly they're like scrambling. So I said, just put your hand, how many fingers up, how many people? Let me make sure here I got it.
And we can all say the cameraman was this guy.
Who, me?
I did it. I shot the video while she was asking the questions, hoping that she might ever use it someday.
Okay, it's already HD. Okay, all right, guys, here we go.
How many people are in JFK's car?
4 in the trunk, though.
No, put your hand up. How many?
2 Secret Service.
Right there, they all have 4 up. Okay, these are all vets here. Well, I know this one is. I'm not sure about these 2 because they're not wearing vet outfits or anything, but hats. But so 4, y'all say 4. You're agreed.
Mm-hmm. It was a limo. There could have been 3 Secret Service.
Seated in the car.
Sitting in the car.
Okay, because it could be standing. Because they were some walking.
Yeah, just the people.
No matter how many times we say just sitting in the car, every person I ask, I always go through this with them. It's funny, but it's people are. I don't know why they just don't get it.
Sorry.
Yeah. So y'all agree 4. That's correct.
So is there a prize for this?
Well, I'm going to blow your mind right now. Okay, there's actually 2 women in the car when JFK was assassinated. 2 women.
His wife. And a female Secret Service.
No, there's Connolly now and his wife are in there too.
And his wife.
And if you remember Jackie Kennedy having a bunch of flowers, she no longer holds them. Connolly's wife's holding them. Yeah. And that whole thing with the magic bullet, there's no way it could do it anymore because there's 2 people in front of them. None of this makes sense.
The history has changed. Even if you have the Time Life magazine or newspaper saved, and there's 4 people in that car, you're going to see 6 people now, and there's a divider going across when it was an open convertible.
Right. Totally.
So there's that. That's just a little example, but I've asked so many people, vets and people of all ages, and like I said, there was 99% would say 4. I would just yell it out the window as I'm passing the pumps when somebody's pumping gas. An older person that might be like, how many people? They're like, huh? What? JFK assassination. How many people were in the car? And I'm trying to say, just in the car. And they're like, 4. Like, what do you want? Why are you asking me this? I'm like, thank you. And I just drive away because I'm recording it. We try to get that answer.
Yeah, those people definitely thought you were a fucking raving lunatic.
Yeah, right? I know. And I knew 2 of them. They probably won't talk to me anymore. That's fine. It's the way it is. Hey, Jen, someone was it Mr. Calf, Golden Calf? He's in there and he said about the flowers he didn't know. You mentioned that to me. You did a whole thing on the flowers.
Yeah, we're going to go over the flowers right now just because this kind of leads me right into that. So, Jackie, from what I remember, was supposedly had yellow roses because they were in Texas. They gave her yellow roses. Now they're saying they gave her red roses. Okay, a bouquet of red roses. So I was looking at. Oh shit! I didn't send those other ones over. Gosh, hold on a second. Where's that? Oh, here they are. Okay, hold on. So I was looking at some footage and stuff, colorized footage, really good quality, to see what's going on with these flowers in the car. And I got some pretty good still shots here.
You've got a comment still on the screen.
Oh, the comments on the screen. I do that all the freaking
I
time.
forget them too.
Thank you for telling me. Okay, so here you can see Connolly right here, and his wife is behind him. You got this guy right here who's turning and looking at the president, right? There was a big contention that this driver may have been the one that turns and shoots. See this arrow right here? I think it might be pointing at something he could have in his hand, because it looks like he shoots and his head blows off. You know what I mean? It's like close range. And that's when there was 4 people in the car, when this whole thing was, a big thing, and everybody's really looking at the footage. Because I was one of those people back in like 2008, 2007, 8 or 6, whatever, who was really checking this footage out. Back and forth, watching every little frame, slowing it down. There was 4 people in that freaking car. The guy turns now. You got Connolly leaning in towards his wife, and he's already halfway in the middle of the car. Kennedy is here right against the door here. So this guy would be blowing off this guy's head, not Kennedy's. But that's not the point here. The point here is this. His wife is holding a bouquet of flowers here. You can see a little bit of the yellow. I have better pictures. I went frame by frame. Here you can see now he's slumped over on Jackie. Jackie's trying to climb out, and they've already slumped over in front of them. They fold over like paper mache people here when the shots fire back here. And then there's this huge bouquet of flowers that has weird yellow tentacles coming off of it. And she's holding it. Jackie has nothing. There's no roses. There's no bouquet, nothing, right? And it's so, I'm sorry, hold on. Let me get the zoom to go back. It's so, and also this round thing on the back of the car, the tire thing, the original car did not have this. Okay. So that's something that's coming with this new car that's here for 6 people. Just wanted to point that out. Here you can kind of make out the yellow pretty good in the flowers there that she's holding, because it's Yellow Rose of Texas, it's their state thing or whatever. You can kind of see it there too. Where is the tentacle one that I had? Oh, here. Okay, she's climbing out the back, I think. Yeah, you can see one of these yellows. They don't look like roses to me. They look like weird tulips of some sort, yellow tulips. And they're like waving all over the place. It's this huge bouquet. It's covering up her. Look, he's right here. I mean, wow. And
yeah, where did she go? It's hard
I've
to
never seen that. I've never ever seen that.
Where did she go? Are you saying the flowers that big, or she ducked down?
Okay, so a couple of pictures back, you see when they first slump over. I think it might be this one. No, let me go back just a little bit more. Okay. Okay, so it's right after this one. Here they slump over, because here it's on her lap. See? It's right here between them, kind of. She's holding it. And then they fold over on each other, and somehow they just take over. The flowers take over the whole scene on that side of the car. I don't know what's going on. It's like crazy octopus flowers. And let me get a better view of it here as I go up. Okay, again, like here, it's just starting to get weird tentacle looking. Again, you can see more of them. As the car's driving through this scene, they're waving and bouncing around all over the place. I'm just getting still shots here, but you get, again, start to see it. That clearly they're a bouquet of yellow flowers, a huge bouquet. Again, here you can see it. It's now starting to take over Connolly as well. It's like it's growing or something. And that was like the last good one that I could get off of it. But when you watch the scene in the, I could play the video. I just don't want to get in any trouble.
Yeah, but they definitely are not with Jackie. They're with Connolly's wife. It's that you can definitely see. They're in the wrong seat.
Yeah, so we see the big changes and stuff, the obvious ones, but I think for all these changes that we see on the surface, there's so many other underlying ones that we don't pick up on, like the jet engines. you know how many other things had to have changed for those jet engines to be out where there are?
Yeah.
You don't even know what's going on. When I saw the wing open up and I was looking down through it from my window seat, I'm like, what? I've flown all the time, guys. Wings don't do that shit. When it did that, I almost lost myself. I was like, oh my God, what is happening right now? There's no flaps that just go up and you're landing. You know, the whole wing comes in, goes down, and opens up, and there's no fuel lines in there. Okay, you can see straight through the damn wing. You can watch the ground underneath you. It's crazy. So you can see it. Let me go back through these little and get up to these other pictures here. Yeah, okay, let me keep going. Okay, here is this is when they're leaving the airport. Okay, they're in Dulles Airport, and because you can see the street here, so you can see where Connolly is, right? He's kind of like right here in front of JFK. I got to tell you, with these new changes and these jump seats, it doesn't look like they even have legs. I don't know where the leg room is, but he is right up against that front wall right here in front of him, and so is his wife. Jackie and JFK seem to have a little leg room. And of course, in the original car, it was a 4-seater and it had a nice luxurious back seat. There was no jump seats at all. The suicide doors meet together. There's no space in between them. And there certainly isn't a damn divider going across.
Yeah,
just
that divider is the weirdest.
That's just one more so you can see, you know, the positioning. He's in a little. JFK is right here at the door. His jump seat and her jump seat next to him, his wife, are more towards the center of the car, where their back seat, you know, they're kind of sitting on either end. So yeah, I'm just in reference to anybody turning and shooting, it doesn't make sense. And also for me, in the original footage, when they had the 4-seater car, I remember Connolly being in the front seat with the driver, and I do remember him having this hat on as well. That's another thing that came off at some point with the shooting and stuff, but I remember him having his hat on in the car. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I don't remember the hat, but that's weird. When did it fall off?
Here they're walking to the limo. Here's the limo right here. And this padded seat in the back is very interesting. It's very important as well, because this other car that we're going to look at doesn't have this padding and stuff. And there's something that they talk about with this other car. It's just crazy. It goes back to the flowers. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, it's take note of that quilted padding in the back there. Oh shit. Okay, let me go back one. This is a reenactment from one of these JFK movie shows here. The reason I'm showing this is because I'm just showing again where you can see really good where they would have Connolly here and the wife over here, and you know, the driver would have to turn and like aim past Connolly on the left side to shoot JFK on the right side. Just saying, take that.
Right, he was already turning. The first quote shot supposedly went through JFK's throat and then into Connolly a bunch of ways. So he started to turn before the kill shot. So he would have been leaning in towards what you're saying.
Right here. He's got shot in the neck right here at this part. Okay. Now let's go back one more. Hold on. Okay. So right here, look, he's in the neck. He still has his head right here. The driver's here and he's already looking back. So Connolly's leaning towards his wife. So they're even more towards the middle at this point, which means he's in direct line of JFK and the driver. He's right in the middle. There's no way that this guy can turn now and shoot JFK, and it's just crazy.
Well, and then if you were going to plan an assassination on the president, you know you'd only get one time. And why would the way you plan it out be shooting through a middle row of people?
Exactly.
Yes, good point.
And
you
the
know
way
what I mean? You would come up with a different plan. Give somebody else the gun, maybe one of the guys, you know, in the motorcade or something like that, come up from behind. Like you wouldn't.
He's gonna go all Clint Eastwood on us and do, you know.
I'm just saying, with the way it always bothered me, the way his head, you know, what happened there. It always, and I was even when I was young and didn't know anything about guns, I was always into this whole thing, this conspiracy before the Mandela effect. That's why it's an anchor one for me. But I always thought it seemed to be close range, or a lot closer than some knoll somewhere or up in some depository. It seemed the way it blew off, you know, somebody.
And I have a question. Wait, go back to that picture. So if
Sure.
let's say it's the guy shooting from the book depository or whatever, the solo gun, if it's coming through Kennedy and it goes through Connolly, then where does it go? Does it go to the guy in front of him? Do they say where the bullet ends up? Does it go to the divider? I just wonder that.
I haven't read those details on that. I haven't dug into
Well,
that.
they're
But
all new now because there's 6 people. So
and you know what's interesting too? The JFK movie that Kevin Costner did, I used to really like watching that too, because you got to see the kind of what behind the scenes the other side was doing and the investigation and everything. So that whole movie has changed now to the 6 people in the car, and they do discuss the magic bullet theory, but I haven't watched it to see what changes are in that. That would be interesting to see. I should definitely check that out. But let's go back up here. Okay, so here we got. Okay. Let me see here. This is the bigger car behind JFK's car. This should be JFK's car right here in the front. And then behind it, they had a larger, seemed like a little bit older model type of limousine. And you could see, listen, this is really important, guys. Okay. You can see Johnson right here. Okay. See his nose. There's no mistake in Johnson.
Yeah, it's him.
When I read you this other article that we're going to look at, they say that this white 4-seater convertible suicide door car that just happens to have yellow flowers in it is Johnson's. And he was 2 car lengths behind Kennedy. All right. So say this isn't Kennedy right here, and this is actually another car, and Kennedy's actually up here a little more. That's fine. Okay, maybe I made a mistake about this limo in front. But still, this car is not the same car that they're showing was parked out front of that fucking hospital. I'm just saying, we'll get to it. Okay, so here's a reenactment here, just the positioning of the people in the car. Again, it just proves what I was saying. These 2 in the middle were closer together. And look at this fucking leg room, guys. Are you kidding me? Because I've always known that it doesn't look right. But
the story too is it was originally a 4-seater. Then they cut out the middle of it and made it into a custom 6-seater with these ridiculous seats.
Yeah. And that's why
I don't think that's humanly possible. I don't think that's possible for him to have his legs like that. I don't think so. Look at them. They're bent in half.
And when you see the video of them in the car, he's right up against that thing. It's like, where is the rest of him at? How can he be right there? I just nothing.
There might not be any legs because it might just be a fucking, because I don't have any reason to believe that this is real in any sort of way. So,
So
just like there's a running board on the foot thing. What is that sticking out?
Yeah, for those guys to stand on, I guess, or whatever.
Oh, is that what that is? I don't remember. I remember they had them in the back.
Yeah, they have them in the back. They had them on the sides because somebody would be standing here like protecting them. Of course, that was.
Well, they screwed that, didn't they?
Yeah. Oh, they had a whole bulletproof window here. This is what this divider is that they weren't using.
Yeah, that makes no sense either.
If I go back a picture, you can probably.
If you're talking about the driver shooting him through the bulletproof glass that's in front of him now, like that's really not thought out, right?
Oh, the bulletproof glass isn't there. It's just the dividers there. They didn't even bother putting the glass in.
Oh, okay.
Why would you put it in? The driver's going to shoot him, but he can't shoot through your glass, right?
Fair enough.
So, yeah, exactly. All right, where's that car at? I passed something over here.
Joe says in his reality, JFK had no legs.
Okay. I skipped a picture and I didn't mean to, guys. This is a clip from that JFK mini series that was on.
See, they don't have the right
HBO. It was on HBO, right?
Yeah, I think it was on HBO or something like that. Anyway, so
the Kennedys. Wasn't it called the Kennedys?
Yes, the Kennedys. And in that, you can see scenes where they use props. Like they're coming off the plane. They use some real footage in it, and then they're walking up to the car, talking to each other, and they have this 2 suicide doors very close together. See, there's no split in the middle here, so that means there's no divider up here, and it's only a 4-seater. So they're using the actual correct car, whether it's a prop or not. They remember it like I remember it because. The new one has a big space between these 2 suicide doors, and the car's just different. There's a little bit better one right there. So you can see they're very close together. And then there was one picture I had. Again, I just want to reiterate. This is Johnson here in this car right here. one of the things I had up, I thought you could see a window up in another car. Maybe not. Okay, so this is when they're starting to get out of the airport here and stuff, this one. So now I want to go to, let me see here, it's right here. Let me get rid of this crap. Jeez. What the hell's all this crap? Assassination of President Kennedy, news reports, photos, and all that junk. Okay, so here they're at Dulles. Now this is interesting. Life magazine, the assassination of President Kennedy. And this is what they give you. A white suicide doors very close together. You can see there's no gap when this door's closed. No divider, right? No quilted seats in the back. And what's this giant thing here? Is that a giant bouquet? With these flappy looking tentacle things on it? Yeah, there it is.
Which cars? It moved.
Now, where do I read this? Where do I read this to you? Hold on. Let's zoom in on these flowers.
Yeah, it's telling you that it's Johnson's car, and that's not the car he was in, right?
Yeah. So the flowers left the Kennedy car and jumped into the Johnson's car, I guess.
Right. Now, this makes sense to me, though, guys, because I've always known from studying the JFK assassination prior to all this Mandela effect stuff that Connolly's wife did not have the clearance to sit in the same car with the president. That is why the original four-seater car had Connolly up front, the driver, Jackie, and JFK. She was in another car behind them. And how much you want to bet? She was probably sitting with Johnson because there's those freaking roses. Now let's read the title underneath of it. It says, above view of the flowers on the back seat of Vice President Lyndon Johnson's Lincoln. Now, you saw the Lincoln earlier that I showed you. They said he was driving in. It was a big, black, bulky looking thing, like a little bit older model from the 60s and stuff. So right there, this is wrong. Okay.
I'll be right back. Something's blasting off down here. Sorry.
Okay, so Johnson's Lincoln convertible, as it sits parked near the entrance of Parkland Hospital, Dallas, Texas, November 22nd, Johnson's car was 2 car lengths behind the car in which President Kennedy was killed. So there you have it. So let me go back to my pictures over here. Where's that car at? Where is it? Where is it? Back here a little bit more. Up here a little bit. Right here. No, not that one. Not that one. That one. Sorry, guys. Not that one. Oh, I'm lost in my pictures now. Jeez. It's here somewhere. So let me go back a tiny bit. Right here? No, that's not it. I'll find it. Where did it go? Sorry, guys. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll get it.
And somebody had mentioned that picture is shown with the flowers could have been just the exposure, but the idea is it's still a 4-seater. So regardless of what color that picture is, it's a 4 instead of a 6.
Well, I showed you in the Zapruder film, okay, that she's holding long-stemmed roses of some sort, and when the roses are longer like that, to me it looked like the way it was slapping, it was like some kind of long lily or something. But the Yellow Rose of Texas, that's their thing, and that's what they would have given Jackie, okay? So the longer they are, the more floppier they are, and and everything, it's a convertible. The point being here is Johnson's sitting right here. This is the freaking motorcade, and he's in a big black fucking car with 2 drivers. I don't know who's next to him because we can't see. It's blocked. But she should have been sitting right there holding them roses. Yep. But now and then, go over here. They say they were in, and they don't say she was in the car, but how did these flowers get in the car? Anyway, so there's that. And then what else do I have down here in this article? Some other weird stuff was going on. That's when they're taking them home, I think. Okay, so there's the original picture. Now see this car behind them right here? This looks a lot like what I just had up here. See this car? The shape of it. It's an older model. This car is more straight. I can't see the divider like I can on the other one. I guess it's right here. I can't say for sure that this is Kennedy's car. But in this, he's right. This car is right behind him. Now, I don't know what the one behind this one looks like. It could be another Cadillac behind them. But clearly something's not adding up just with these 2 articles. You see what I'm saying? So we could be seeing another type of Mandela effect there that that maybe we weren't aware of before. The stories here and there has got to go
The
with
story's
it.
changed so much already too.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, obviously the video changes and it always being in color and all that, but then there's the audio and the Dick DeBelt recording and the whole story about how they came to a decision that was really a shooter in the grassy knoll. And you can hear the shots on the footage because supposedly it was recorded from a police motorcycle. Like, it's just crazy.
Yeah. And the devil's in the details, and this kind of stuff. Picked up on this was I was looking at the Life article because I remember that car. I remember them talking about it back in the day. It was white, it was black, and it was a thing for a while. It's a white car, it's a black car, right? Really looking at this picture, I'm like, I know this face. That's friggin' Johnson right there. And I look over here, you know, nobody can mistake Johnson. And then the car, it's like, well, at first I thought they were going to say it was the car that he was assassinated in, because when you look at the article, it does appear to have a little bit of blood on it. I don't know if they just added that in for effect or whatever. I don't know. Let me go back up here to the car. Here it is here. I don't know I'm not sure what I'm looking at here, but when you zoom in on it, on the seat there's some kind of weird discoloration. Now, I don't know if that's blood or not, but I'm just saying.
That could be a shadow, maybe. You think? Could it be a shadow?
It could be. It's kind of rainbowish looking weird. It's weird. It's a black and white picture. Why would you have this weird little iridescent spot? Do they chemtrail in the seats now? I don't know.
You're right. It's black and white and you see rainbow in the middle.
But I remember, this is what I remember of this original Life article here, because it was on the front cover. They said that this was the car, and this car, it was in color. You could see that it was white. These seats, I think, were blue or dark blue, almost black or something. But you could see blood on it. And even on the rug part. And you know what I mean? It's like, I remember that. It's queer. It was just crazy. So that's my presentation on it. This so far, I mean, I'm just blown away by this craziness of this whole situation. I'm going to hand it over to Brian, and then Ceiling Fan's going to wrap it up on the back end with Oswald and Ruby. He's got some really cool stuff that he has to show us. And
I do have one picture that goes along with that, what you were just saying, Jen. The cameras, about when I remember, was just the Zapruder film, and it was black and white, no sound, because they weren't even, sure how many shots. But now, where is it? You see that picture? Can you see that?
Oh, hold on. Let me let you in here. Looking at the chat. And let me make it big so everybody can really see what's going on here. There you go.
Okay. So this is a museum, and it shows all the cameras. But the crazy thing is, see, this is the Zapruder, but it's not actually his camera, they said. But all of these other cameras, the people that took the videos, these are all movie cameras, some of them in color. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. That looks like a still camera. 5. There's 3 more still cameras. 6, 7, 8 movie cameras.
What?
So if this has always been our reality, then someone explain to me why we only talk about this one and we don't talk about any of these other films. And where are they all?
I mean, not even a peep about them. I remember when Brian.
I can show you where they are. I got them in my JFK video.
Oh, that's true.
Remember, guys, this is new technology. Back then, people didn't have this all readily available. They still had black and white TV. What are they doing with colorized cameras around Dallas and stuff? I'm just,
Yeah, it's ridiculous. There's about 13 or 14 different angles I have in that JFK video that all of a sudden came into this reality all at like once, but they were all like, they've always been here now.
And how much do these cost that everybody had one, You
would have heard something about something, Now we know they were going around snatching stuff off people and telling them they didn't see what they saw and all that crap, if that's really true. But, you don't hear about none of these cameras or any other angle. And there was other angles. We saw, you showed them. You played the videos, didn't you?
Yeah, I can bring them up while you guys are talking if you give me a minute.
Yeah, no problem. The JFK assassination is as shifty as South America.
Here's another one while he's bringing that up, Jen. This is, I think, one of the shiftiest things. And it's it's an anomaly that I'm finding in a bunch of things now. But where is it? The JFK one. Oh, that's us.
Hold on, let me take this comment off the screen.
This one.
Thank you, Flat Earth.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, I'm not going to show the violence, but you see this frame, and there's 7 seconds. If you can see that, we're 7 seconds in, and this is the Zapruder film, which is now in color with sound, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, the motorcade's there.
Yeah.
A second.
How'd that happen?
Like, did they go through a portal? How's that happen? Of course, now see, boom, now they're there. And I'm finding that in a lot of these videos.
Okay, hold on. Let's stop right there. Leave it there. Make it big again. Let's look at this motorcade. He's supposed to be 2 car lengths behind JFK. So
here's
this
the white
one and that one, but this one is not a convertible. This doesn't look like the car that they were just showing in Life magazine.
Yeah, neither one of them. This one's a convertible. This one is.
I mean, he could have been in this gray thing back here, but that doesn't look like the car neither.
But this is definitely not 2 car lengths.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't remember all these people so damn close either. Like there's cops right here. There's cars on their butt. There's another cop. They were all back farther, what I remember.
Yeah, I remember all back farther.
Definitely, they were back farther.
But see this jump cut anomaly thing. I'll just show you these 2 real quick, and then I'll get out. This was one of the things that woke me up when I was looking into satellites, and this rocket that supposedly blows up on the launch pad, but right before it does this weird jump cut, and it changes color. Right? So that was the first one I saw. Then, of course, the JFK thing. And then I was just talking to Jen last week. You know, they do it on the Hindenburg, too. You see the Hindenburg, and then, you know, they filmed it all the way across. It was like this amazing feat. And they filmed it right up to the moment when it actually hits something and catches fire. So we never know what happens. Because you get to the moment, and it's, I think, somewhere right around here. Let's see. A little bit more. And then suddenly we get the jump cuts. You ready? And this one's a weird jump cut, too. Should be here. Yeah, it should be right about. Come on. There. Boom, boom, boom. What happened? What was all that?
Right.
And you can't find it. This is the original video. You can't find this. So why did he shoot all of this? And then the moment it actually explodes, nobody caught on camera. And it goes through this weird 3 different jump cuts in this. That's the original video.
Yeah, that one little cut there, it looked like it was daylight. And then it goes to darkness.
Yeah, it's so bizarre. It just, and then of course the story on this has changed. What I remember in this ridiculous inferno is no one survived. I mean, how could you? The thing was on fire before it hit the ground. Now more people live than died. So explain that one. That's interesting.
Like twice as many.
Right.
Oh, baby.
Yeah. So anyway,
That's right.
Get out of this. Okay.
All right, I got the videos for JFK.
Sweet.
Yeah. So
All right, here we go.
there's not really any sound, so I'm just gonna play them and we can just talk over it.
Okay. Sounds good. Oh, the humanity.
And what are we seeing here?
The different videos that this one, for some reason, it shows some footage inside the book depository. But what we're looking at is all those different videos of the assassination.
Oh, this is maybe them looking through it after he shot him, I guess. Is that it?
Yeah, it might be. But it's going to get to all that footage that came from all those cameras that you just showed. I have it all here. That supposedly has always been out there.
Yeah.
You know, and I got to say something else too. In the Kennedy JFK movie with Kevin Costner, they don't talk about all these people that have all these cameras. They talk about all the people that were interviewed, how they were told that they didn't see what they saw and all this stuff. And, you know, they were trying to get them to change their stories and everything. All these different cameras and shit.
That's what I'm saying. How come no one's talked about these before now? Only the Zapruder film. That's all we ever hear about.
Something ain't right.
Everybody had color cameras.
Yeah,
Well,
like
everybody's sitting at
never
home watching
seen any
it on
of
a
this.
black and white TV.
What'd you say, Brian?
Never seen any of this footage until it all showed up all at once, like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I remember, we were saying, like, it's like the internet or something is compensating for all these changes, you know?
See everybody running around and scattering because the shots went off, like as the car went under the bridge. Like, never seen this until like 2019. Yes, you ask anybody what videos of the JFK assassination they'd seen, nobody ever says anything but Zapruder.
You know, I wonder how many. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying on this one, Jen, it shows you the different cars. Maybe you can spend time and try to see if you see the car thing that you're talking about.
Yeah, that's true. I was going to say, I wonder how many vets, after I talked to them, got home and looked at their newspaper clippings and stuff and was like sitting there probably scratching their heads for a while. You know what I mean? I had one guy look it up on his phone as I was talking to him. He's like, oh my God. Like, what is this?
Well, like I said, my friends, you freaked them out, and then I haven't heard from them since. So,
Has that effect on people?
It does. Yeah, you do. We all do. Truth is a way of upsetting people.
Well, I talked to loads of people about the Mandela effect at work. It's been pretty cool. And even the owner of the restaurant, he's watched like 5 of my live streams, which is that's a lot of content.
Yeah.
Yeah, he disagrees. Not with the Mandela effect, but he's totally triggered by flat Earth. He thinks we went to the moon.
That's fantastic.
But yeah, I don't even bother. Not triggered, but you know, you can tell.
Well,
he thinks you're retarded, like they think we are, right?
Retarded.
Like, well, I'm really into science, and I'm thinking.
A lot of us for a while couldn't understand why it triggered people so bad. You know what I mean? And now I'm on the other side of this whole thing and seeing things a lot differently. I realize now that the reason they were triggered so bad, at least in my opinion, is at that moment they start to realize probably, oh, it's not just that it's flat, but it's going to be every narrative tied to that ball.
Mm-hmm.
That is also not true.
Well, you lose dinosaurs too. You lose it all. All the cool movies are gone. They're just movies. Like, I still enjoy space. I just know it's all fake.
Yeah, I enjoy it as fiction, entertainment.
Yeah. Like, what was it? William Shatner told us there is no difference. He tried to tell us.
That movie with Sandra Bullock. I mean, gosh, look at that thing.
Look at this footage. Never seen this footage in my life.
No, I can't get over how much there is. There's so much. That looks like it was shot from in the car.
It does, doesn't it? Like right behind.
Yeah, that's in the car. Someone's in a car.
Wow. Dude, this is like.
Wait, who's shooting this in the car?
Cops got people held down on the ground and shit.
Wow.
That was.
This is crazy. Like the Ed McMahon stuff. Remember when all that popped up? When you were like,
when he started doing that other thing with Dick Clark.
And it wasn't.
Yeah, and it was like 20 different commercials, and it was like that whole story kept changing too, because originally the story was it was 1 year with Dick Clark, 5 years total with that company, and then it turned into like he's with this other company for like 15 years, and him and Dick Clark are out there for a decade fucking making commercials and shit. Like, and
the commercials were ridiculous. It was like that Mandela effect was trolling us because, and you especially, because you were hitting it so hard. And it's like, if they even said Publishers Clearinghouse, Ed McMahon would freak out.
Don't say that word.
I was like, oh my God. Now talk about being triggered, right? And then that other one at the gas station, remember the guys at the pump, and he's like, hey, aren't you from? And he's like, don't say it.
Yeah.
It was like, dude.
Well, for those of us growing up in those years, that freaking thing came in your mailbox all the freaking time.
I remember that commercial. I remember the balloons. I remember the people.
I would put that thing in the mailbox, and it had Ed McMahon's Publishers Clearinghouse, clear as day. There's no way.
Every day of the week.
Yep.
I never won either. Fucking Ed McMahon.
Everybody knows he works for Publishers Clearinghouse, dude.
Everyone.
And I've asked elderly people that too, like even the vets at the tail end of stuff. Sometimes I would throw that in there because sometimes I get so sidetracked with the JFK stuff, I forget to ask them other things. And I'd be like, Ed McMahon, who do you work for? You know, they always say Publishers Clearinghouse.
I ask them, I'll be like, when I say Ed McMahon, what picture comes to your mind? If I can do it that way, I do. And they'll go into the whole description. They'll say Publishers Clearinghouse. He went to people's doors, giant checks and a balloon. And it's like, yeah, so how are you going to say anything about me fucking planting it in someone's head? Deniers, they'll say.
Yeah.
Deniers. Mandela effect deniers are pathetic. It's my take.
No, absolutely. They have to deny it, I think, so they can keep their sanity to a certain extent, because this is profound what's taking place, especially once you realize how, at least part of how it works is that it's retroactive and with things that are in your possession. And it's not a PSYOP. This is huge. I remember 2012.
Some content creators don't want to talk about it because they'll lose subscribers and they don't want to. So they'll just dance around and pretend it's not happening.
Right. So, you know, are you in it for the truth? Or are you in it for the subscribers? You know, I was always in it for the truth. I thought it was really cool that I was gaining subscribers on my first channel. And it's like, oh my God, this is incredible. People want to hear what I have to say, that kind of thing. But at the same time, it was always about the truth for me, wherever that led me to whatever topic, you know what I mean? And when you're on the path of truth, you can't help where it leads you. You got to go.
Hey, Brian, do you want to tell Mac TV that says the Publishers Clearinghouse commercials never existed with Ed? Do you want to talk about that?
Oh, yeah, you should probably.
Yeah, well, he's never had any affiliation now with Publishers Clearinghouse in this reality. He's always been with a different company called American Family Publishing, which almost nobody's really ever heard of.
No.
And not only that, like, so when people originally found out about this Mandela effect, or when it originally started going viral, because people did find out long before the Mandela effect content like blew up on YouTube. But anyways, when people found out, then of course with the new reality, there's videos of him in the past with the new company, but there was only one video, and it was a video with this blue background, very plain looking video, and now he's the AFP guy. And for about 2 to 3 years, while we're talking about the Ed McMahon Mandela effect and how huge it is, and then of course you've got the quote unquote debunkers and the deniers trying to prove us wrong in any way they can. So you know what they do? All they do is they Google something, they send you the current reality. Also, they would send us that video. Look, oh, you guys are stupid. So there was never any other videos at all on both sides of the discussion. Definitely knew that. And then all of a sudden in 2019, one night, you know, it gets brought to my attention that there's all these fucking Ed McMahon commercials now with this other company, backdated in reality. Oh. And it's spanning about 15 years. There's like fucking 20 commercials with this other company now.
They're bizarre commercials, guys. They're not anything from our reality. Like it's like the AI got something together and chopped it all up, and it's the reactions too about the confusion with the Publishers Clearinghouse, how they added that in, and that's all we were talking about. I mean, geez, the Ed McMahon thing was huge on your channel. It was like a huge thing, and you had so much evidence, and then the way it seemed to be like trolling you. Like, remember the people talking in the car on the Tech Before Its Time to somebody in Centerville, right?
Yeah.
My God.
Centerville.
Yeah, and for people that don't know, Ed McMahon is literally from my hometown. In the neighborhood, Centerville's Mandela affected, the Merrimack River's Mandela affected, Mickey Ward's Mandela affected, all in one little city of 150,000 people.
Yeah,
those shows when you were calling different stores, or you were talking to the taxi or Uber drivers and saying, "Hey, where are we at?" and none of them got it right, and you showed them the sign. That's just bizarre, that whole story, because it follows us, it trolls us. Black Tom ends up near your backyard and stuff. It's just weird how this happens.
That's such a gigantic Mandela effect.
Yeah, totally. That one and that other one where they flew balloons over and dropped bombs. That's just the weirdest stuff you were coming up with.
I mean, he's even got a rap video where he's driving around in a white, exactly like a prize patrol van, which is what they would deliver the big checks in. He used to pop out of it and run up to people's doors. He's got a rap video way after the fact now, where he's driving around in a white van, and then he goes to the people rapping. He's doing rapping about how he wants back his giant checks, and then he goes to the door, rings the doorbell, and says, "I need back the giant check I gave you." Yeah, and it's like we've never done that.
Yeah.
Right?
And nobody talks about that. Nobody addresses it. No, nothing. You know, it's
Or when Johnny Carson walked out and said Ed McMahon couldn't be here, and he hands was a David Letterman a giant Publishers Clearinghouse check.
that's a great
I mean,
one. Yeah.
That's all on for Brian's channel. That's where I saw those.
So at some point, somebody has to ask, well, what the hell does this all mean? You know, because clearly our memories aren't changing. However, there are people who remember certain things one way and other people another way. That's very confusing. There's no real parameters to this whole quantum effect, end times effect, Mandela effect, whatever you want to call it. It's hard to tell if it's a positive or a negative. You know, some things seem like, you know, they go from singular to plural or plural singular. It's hard to nail down, and it's hard to get somebody to understand it, especially when they're like a fact checker kind of person. You know, they want the facts. Well, how does this? What are you talking about? You don't know that? Then, you know, I can't deal with it. It's one of those ongoing, ever-changing things, and it has to do with all of us here. I mean, we can sit here and debate all day long or talk all day long about how this changed and that changed, but at the end of the day, we're witnessing these changes, and we're also witnessing the fact that people are denying it, having cognitive dissonance, and other people are agreeing with us and remember what we remember. And
people denying it, it's gotten so weird that I question if they're even human like us.
There could be some subspecies. We don't know.
Right? I mean, tell me you don't have those questions.
Let's just say they're sus. How about that?
Well,
yeah.
It says in the Bible,
their humanness is sus.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But the Bible says be in the world and not of it. And I think a lot of people are of the world so much that, you know, they're so entrenched. You know, there's people out there that still believe the whole left wing, right wing, you know, Democrat, Republican stuff. I'm like, God, I can't even talk to you.
I don't know how much you've seen at some of my shows, Brian, but I was on with 3 different large channels and had no idea they were anti-Mandela and lost all of them. One even did a hit piece on me afterwards. It's pretty nuts.
People are super triggered. People are super triggered. And they're so dishonest when it comes down to it. And you can see the dishonesty just seeping off of them. And it's like,
I remember when you were in California and you were talking to all those preacher people out on the streets, and they would just try to shut you down. And you were like, nuh-uh.
Yeah, and I would just continually get them with every single change in the Bible. Every single one. If the Mandela effect's fake, why can I keep doing that? Why can I keep walking up to preaching the Bible, selling the Bible, Jehovah's Witnesses in the center of Shelby, teaching Bible courses, and get them with every single change repeatedly in unison with allegedly something that's never existed, and we're all just crazy, even though we have like 800 years of physical evidence that also backs.
Oh yeah, Brian would have them like running away crying when he got done with them. It was amazing to see. But again, you got these people who are holding the Bible, preaching about it out on the corner every day, holding it in their hand, acting like, you know, they're flipping through it. Brian's out there hitting them with left thing, and the guy would have to like try to look for it in the book to see if he was right. You know what I mean? It's like Brian clearly has this stuff memorized. Memorized means it's written on your heart, you know. It's like your favorite song. You don't got to look at the lyrics every time to sing it. It's written on your heart. It's written, you know. So that's a thing with these preachers and people who have the bigger channels who talk a lot about Bible and preach and stuff or whatever. How do they not see this?
Well, one of them, I mean, I'm not naming names here. One of them, the end song someone had wrote for him, and it was called "The Truth Shall Set You Free." Mm-hmm. And that, of course, no longer exists in the KJV. It's "The truth shall make you free." And so I brought that up, and that was one of the things I think that led to non-communicado. That's the way it is. But I didn't do it. It was on their channel. I just pointed out, and then they get upset.
You didn't do anything. Reality did it. These people need to fucking deal with reality, man. Yeah. Period.
But
deal with reality. It's changing.
They put it up, so I just pointed out, hey, you know that's wrong.
I think, didn't you do that to Russian Vids or something?
Oh, yeah, I was saying, I wasn't mentioning, but yeah, that's who it was.
No, I'm talking about Brian. I remember he was pointing out to some bigger
channel. God, I've shown Russian Vids' Mandela affected how many times? The guy's an archive.
I don't know why they can't handle
And the Midnight Ride, those guys hate me. They called me a heretic and told me I was sending everyone to hell or whatever because I was showing them all these mistakes that they're covering. And then that other guy, Dave J., I think is his name. He went off on me in Discord, which is funny because it's Discord.
Dude, all these Mandela effect deniers are clowns, man. It's such a joke to me. I could see it 4 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. But when I've come out and put out the content I've put out and done interviews with many of these people or shown how affected all these truthers are so many times, they know damn well they're affected. I can't take them seriously if they deny this. Like, how could I?
Yeah.
How could I trust their judgment on reality if they're going to deny the obvious, what's taking place?
And the way you hammer at home your points, and you have the research behind you, and it's thorough, and it's it's either, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, and you can't even answer this question or that question, so I don't want to talk to you, or they get to somebody like Brian who's just hitting them with so much truth they're begging for a lie. Okay, if you're in line with truth and you're talking about the truth, trying to get the truth out there, whatever it is, how could you not see this truth? You know what I mean? I don't understand that, and not want to deal
Even
with
if it was just Volkswagen, I would know this was real, because I had a 97 Volkswagen that I bought brand new off the lot, and there's nothing you're going to do to gaslight me to the point to think I don't know what the fuck the emblem is like on my car. I mean, it's gone. I don't even need no residue. Go screw yourself.
Yeah. Well, it's like saying, tell me that my right hand doesn't exist. No, I know it's there. It's been there my whole life. I know what it is. There's nothing you can say that'll unconvince me other than cutting it off, I guess.
So, Jen, I don't know if you saw, but so I did a video the other day, right? Or maybe it might have been a week or two ago now. I went to Food Lion, right? And they had what is now turmeric on the shelf, and we know.
Oh yeah.
So underneath it had the barcode, and it said it the old way, and the computer system for the place. So I went back, I got the receipt, just like we've done with Haas at Walmart, right? You've done it. You've done it yourself. Remember when we were talking about Haas at Walmart being in the POS system the old way? You went there and bought one and got the receipt, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I did this. I did it with the turmeric, right? So listen to this. So it wasn't just Food Line. I did it at Food Line, right? And then John Blue Pac-Man goes to Food Max, same thing. Turmeric on the shelf, turmeric on the thing. He buys it. He's got the receipt. Then also Trader Joe's is selling it right now. Turmeric, but turmeric underneath it in handwriting. And somebody just sent me one today from Stop and Shop. Same thing. Turmeric on the shelf, turmeric on the store's label. They're all doing it. So all the national grocers are just having the same mismemory as the Mandela effect people, and there's nothing going on. And I don't know if you saw it, but the turmeric, it changed in Japanese. And in Japanese, the change isn't just one letter. The first 3 letters in the Japanese word of it have completely changed. It changes the pronunciation a lot. And I've shown the some residue in Japanese.
Wow.
So see, it's happening to everybody across the board. It's not just, Christians or America or anything like that. This is like I said, it's a huge red flag for humanity. What does this mean? I mean, like I said, the powers that be know what it means, and of course they're giving us all these alternative narratives to steer us towards as a reason for it happening. Because they got to hide what the real reason is, just like they've been hiding what the shape of the earth is by telling us the complete opposite of what it actually is. What's so big that they have to do that? You know what I mean? It's just crazy. There's so many things that we don't know. And the worst thing is we don't know where we're at in time to figure out what the hell's happening and what it means. And like, in my opinion, it's been happening for a while now. So a lot of people can come on board and see it and get it. That's why I think there's a period where it's happening. It's like a precursor to something else that's coming. That's how I feel about it.
And the weird thing about trying to explain it is there is no timeline you can put on it, because just because I've seen a change this year, then you suddenly find some guy that was talking about it, 5 years ago, and there's changes that go back through history. So when did it happen? And some people are still in the old way until you tell them there's a change, and then suddenly they see it. So for them, it just changed that day.
Yes, that's another weird thing too. So what does all that mean? How does that fit into the why it's even happening? I feel like it's definitely meant for us to not necessarily figure out, but it's a sign that we should be looking for. Leading up to 2012, they kept telling us something big's going to happen. Everybody thought it was going to be December 21st, 2012. Something was going to happen, life shifting, and we were all going to see it. That wasn't the case. And there was people, you can't find these videos anymore, that talked about beyond 2012.
And wait,
And,
Jen, that was a Mandela effect that I came up because I had looked into, like everyone else living through 2012, we thought it was going to die. And it was the Mayan calendar that I looked into. And then when I looked at it again for a show, there's no end. That's a weird one. There's never been a Mayan people or Mayan calendar.
So just the Maya.
Maya.
But we've shown articles where it says like the Mayan temples, and they just keep saying Maya. We've been seeing that a lot too lately. Again, it's just exciting times to be alive for sure, and to see all this happening and see how it's affecting everybody differently, and the experiences.
The fucking kidneys are in the wrong location under your skin while we've been living our lives. People have risen from the dead. I just want to point that out.
Yeah, there's no more kidney punch. They're protected by your rib cage.
I just want to point out that people have died multiple times.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of a big deal. How does that work?
Yeah,
Billy Anderson definitely died multiple times.
What about Kirk Douglas? I'll never forget that one happened while we were on air.
Oh, and Mike Williams killed him?
Yeah.
For the second time? Maybe the third?
That's fantastic.
I remember Muhammad Ali died twice. I remember asking, I think it might have been Juan Torres and another friend of mine back then. I was like, wait a minute, he's dead? He just died like, it seemed like 6 months prior to that we heard he died. It was really weird. But yeah, that stuff's really strange. The name changes, like Sally Field. Yeah, and her excuse is that she just never wanted to correct anybody because they just always put an S at the end. I mean, are you kidding me?
It's like the Mickey Ward excuse when I contacted the Lowell Sun reporter about the Mickey Ward thing and why he was like intentionally, quote unquote, spelling his name wrong to then correct himself a sentence later in the article. And he said, well, Mickey always had his name spelled wrong and people would always spell it with the E and he would never correct them because he was shy. And I'm like, this is a guy that has contract with like Everlast Boxing and shit. And he's on HBO fighting. What do you mean he's not going to correct people on his name?
So, Brian, do you see this picture on the screen?
Yeah, that was wild.
Okay, don't say anything. Just, Brian, tell me what that necklace says.
Love.
Okay. All right. When I bought it, it said love. That's what it's supposed to say. And
it kind of looks like it says save, though, now.
There you go.
Yes.
I can see both.
Right. I can kind of see both because I know what it was when I bought it, of course, but that's not really what I see anymore. Every time when I see it,
I didn't know what it said at all, and I seen both pretty quickly. So, like, what do you think that means?
There's no way that chain should be attached where it is. It's stupid there. It doesn't make any sense.
I'm wearing it right now, as a matter of fact. Now, this L used to come over and loop over more, and I thought it broke. I'm like, what's going on? I noticed
now it's doing the lean back.
I've had this necklace for like 2 years now. Why would suddenly I look at it and be like, something ain't right? So I had my husband look at it under a magnifier that he looks at, diamonds or whatever for, to see if this thing had broke off. I thought it broke. I wear it to bed sometimes. And he's like, no, it's definitely not broke. It doesn't feel rough. It definitely appears to have been made that way. I'm like, okay, well, that's not right because it doesn't look right. And now it says save. That's all I see now is save, right? And the way the linkage is here on the end, it wasn't like this. This is really odd right here. And I keep looking at it in the mirror when I'm in the bathroom. I'm like, it just doesn't sit right anymore. It doesn't look right where it's hooked at.
My past life, of course, I did this kind of work, and that chain just ending there and then putting a tack on the end like that, it's wrong. That's not how you would do that.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, what the heck? And this is something in my possession. This is just recently this happened. This is within the last month. I even put it away. I thought I broke it. I thought it was broken. I said, well, I'm not even going to wear it a couple of weeks. Put it away, forget about it. And I was like, I want to wear my necklace. I really love this love necklace. I wear it a lot. I know what it said and I know what it looked like. And it's just shocking to me to see it like this. Is this a message? What does this mean? Save?
I think that's a great message if that's what it is. So.
Yeah. So I was just like, I couldn't believe it. And the more I look at it, the more it says save. Like right now it's saying, screaming at me, save right now. So
yeah, Subi Ratio said that she remembered it looking like love in a live stream. So yeah.
there you go. There
Oh
you
wait,
go.
no, she said saved. I don't know. I'm out.
Well, a recent one we were showing it and it said save, but
Yeah.
if you look back at other live streams when I had it on, I haven't gone back and looked yet, see if it's changed. A lot of people's pictures. Remember the thinker statue, Brian? You showed the pictures of a group of people doing the thinker pose in front of a whole class of people. Go to this statue and do the pose and get a picture taken, and the statue's like lollygagging like this. It's just the most bizarre thing.
Yeah, I always show that when I go on an interview. That's one of my favorite things to show.
And that thing kept changing. It was like it went from the head, it went to here, then it's an open hand, and then his leg, his arm on the other leg, and he's doing like a twister thing. It's really weird.
Yep. Yeah, it changed like 4 times.
And then I'm old enough to have a VHS copy of this. And then, of course, on the back, it says, life is like a box. Well, you can't see it, but they have it wrong on the thing. I got to turn my green screen off. But yeah, it's wrong on the box cover. It says life is like a box of chocolates. And of course, it never said that in the movie.
See, that's denoting like a downgrade. Life is like a box of chocolates. It's like, no, bitch, life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah,
we know what you're gonna
it's
get.
a beautiful day in this neighborhood, motherfucker.
Right, not that neighborhood or that one over there, but this one, it's all good. Yeah, it's crazy. And then Tom Hanks, the whole Tom Hanks thing, that was bizarre. See, it's these, suckers of Satan's banana over there in Hollywood. They're taking advantage of this.
Why is it Satan's? No more Satan's cock? Yeah, you like editing yourself? What is that?
Yeah, the old gen would say that. The new gen saying sucking Satan's banana.
I don't know. There's been like 3 gens. The first gen I met, she'd use words like muffed up, and say she was a teacher. She had to learn other words than fucked up. She'd say muffed up. And then the middle gen came out and just everyone sucking everything. And then now we're on to bananas. So she's all over the place.
I'm trying, guys.
No, we got to go back to the sucking of Satan's cock. It just sounds.
You usually crack up every time I say it.
Shoot. Oh, I remember you, Brian. Well, this guy, if you haven't seen it, you go find it on one of his. He'll tell you where he did a 9/11 breakdown. That literally the thumbnail had my mouth gasping, and then when I watched it, I wanted to show it to my dad. But, he has a more peppered language. He couldn't watch it. But there's some amazing things in that video. It'll really blow your mind. Not just about that incident, but all of it. Where can you find it?
Given a 9/11 interview. Well, all my 9/11 stuff you could find on my Rockfin or my Odyssey. Basically, you just can't find it on my YouTube because YouTube sucks. And they want people to live in fear. That's how this place runs. And I'm trying to show people in a really thoroughly, like, you don't need to buy into any of this fear because it's all fabricated. And that's the one thing they hate the most on the platform. And we saw the same thing go down with the last 4 years too. Show people that's what they hate the most. You'll get that pulled down the quickest. But I have tons of 9/11 content. I started doing 9/11 stuff in 2010. I didn't do videos till 2018, so I did podcasts for years. And I took calls and everything through my website way back then. Nobody was taking calls like that.
Mm-mm.
No.
Yeah. I remember telling you about when I woke up to 9/11, because I woke up in 2005. You said you woke up around 2000. What was it, Brian?
2010.
Yeah. It's interesting, though. I feel like we were like the first wave because it happened in 2001. I hit it in 2005 going into 2006. And then, it was like this first wave of people. And then, later on, we're down the road here moving through all this truth and sifting through the lies and stuff. And then you get this other wave of people. It's kind of like that with the flat earth and Mandela effect too. There'd be like these later waves of people suddenly like getting it, And we're not all getting it at the same time because we're not all on the same page. They keep us all divided on so many things. And that's why they're hoping that probably towards the end of this, whatever this is, that's a precursor to whatever's coming next, is that we won't figure it out in time. We won't be ready. Maybe you won't have your oil lamp ready. You know what I'm saying? This kind of stuff.
Yeah, because they keep people in that loop of deception and they'll never see that time is short. And I never even thought like this. I didn't believe in any of this stuff I believe now, but the signs are so obvious. I mean, why else is, your reality changing on a molecular level that no one can explain to me.
Yeah.
You know?
And why is it the so many across the board? Why isn't it like one specific thing or a certain type of thing or whatever situation? No, it's anything and everything across the board. I mean,
and we always, like Brian said, we always misremember identically.
Yeah, that's
like for some reason I was straight A student in English through school, and I don't know how to spell dilemma. And I remember pronouncing it dilemma, so I wouldn't misspell it in school. But what was the point? There is no N in dilemma.
So the idea that we would all, when I say we all, I mean like millions of people in the world think that there's a silent N in dilemma. I can guarantee you that. So we all just confabulated silent N into a word in a weird spot where it doesn't belong, where you'd have no reason to think it was anything other than an M or a double M. Like, did we know? Just like with Haas avocados. Like, so we're going to take, if it was always Haas, which rhymes with pass, very easy to spell, 2 S's at the end, very common. We're just going to somehow misconstrue that into this weird sounding word with 2 A's next to each other in an English word. Like, and we're just going to go Haas. If it's always been Haas, why did Stop and Shop put out a commercial last week and they think they're fucking selling Haas avocados right on the street? Hass. Yeah. Last week.
And like I got my mother on that. I got it from you, Brian. It's Bridget Jones's diary, and now it's proper English on an S to add an apostrophe and a second S. It's impossible to say.
Yeah. It's crazy.
And bananas are growing the opposite way now. Yeah. You know, there's
very few times my dad cursed out loud, but when he was into produce for many years, and when I told him and he looked, he said, next time I called him, I said, hey, there's another thing I want to tell you about. And he goes, more than there's the fucking bananas. And I went, whoa, you cursed.
Whoa.
Yeah, that one really got him.
I was at work the other night. This is after this whole, Food Lion thing went down, and I made the turmeric video. This is all in the last like week and a half, 2 weeks, right? And then I'm at work the other night, and I put the video up on TikTok as well, even though I hate TikTok. But if I have something short, if I have something that's already short enough for it, I'll throw it up there. You know, I'm not going to go out of my way to do anything over there, though.
Didn't you call a bunch of people, taxi cabs or something, places, asking them about Centerville?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was epic when you did that. I remember all those calls. That was great.
Oh, yeah.
That was great.
So I'm at work, and some girl comes in. And for people that don't know, I work at a restaurant/bar. So she comes in, and she's holding her phone, and she's like, I saw this video today. This video that I saw on a reel. And I looked at it, and this guy was talking about some conspiracy stuff. And I looked at it, and I said, that's Brian from down at the restaurant. And nobody sent it to her. This isn't like somebody I told I had a show or anything. Nice. She randomly came across a reel that somebody made of my video with me talking about turmeric. So then I started talking to her about turmeric. She totally agreed it was turmeric. Dude, and I brought up a few other them. Totally agreed. I mean, everybody there knows that Chick-fil-A didn't have a fucking K. I've had multiple people say it to me. They're like, I know that Chick-fil-A didn't have a K. Like, that's like a big deal in this area. Yeah, people aren't taking the update on that.
Did they ask you, like, well, what do we do with this information? Okay, yeah, it's changed and it's muffed up and we know it wasn't like that and we can see it's retroactive and it's always been that way, but what do you do with that information? Especially when
my short conversations with them aren't really asking me that yet, but there have been some times like after work where I'm sitting there with a couple people and just talking about it for a while, you know.
Do they have any ideas? Do they say anything? Or, are they actually seem like they're a little afraid to even contemplate what it could mean? Because, clearly it's something big. You know what I'm saying? It has to be. Look at what's going on.
Yeah, I get a mixed reaction. One guy that is a customer went home and watched my show, and he told me it wasn't for him. And, we disagree on some things or whatever. Like I could tell he wasn't vibing with it, but I've had other people that definitely are on board.
Yeah, I think some people just can't handle
I haven't had a deep enough conversation in those short conversations yet to really get the whole take on like too much. I can tell I'm blowing their mind by adding so much more than they've heard.
I talked to
They've
one
heard a
lady.
couple of them. My buddy that I work with, he's this guy that's the manager when I work most of the nights that I work, and I work the same nights every week, so it's usually the same guy. And he just the other day, he's like, I got some Mandela effect thing I got to show you. And he pulls up a video that he found on TikTok, and it was Tostino's, which we know is mad old, but he was like blown away by it. He thought he was showing me a new change. I'm like, oh, that's been going around for years. But yeah, see what I mean, dude?
Yeah.
I brought Haas avocados up to everybody, all the people that work at the restaurant, most of them, nobody's ever heard of Haas, dude. Nobody calls it Haas.
Well, just like the coin I sent you that has Ellis Island with the Statue of Liberty, the fact that the Statue of Liberty now exists on Liberty Island and we never remembered that's just weird.
Now, see, the weird thing that I have on that is that my mother has been to the torch, but she remembers it on Liberty Island.
She's got both. That's funny.
I did think of something earlier because I was thinking about the Statue of Liberty and the stuff that John, listen to me, that Brian and I have done on it because I've told him on his show about my mom being there, and I had never known it until I was having to have a conversation with my mom in the car, explaining to her about Brian.
I tell people all the time about your mom being there.
I think I
know. We actually know somebody. We talked to somebody. That's crazy, right? Yeah. But I'm driving in the car, and I'm like, yeah, the Mandela effect. We're going to have a show. And she's like, what's the Mandela effect? And I was like, well, they say this and that. And she's like, what's Black Tom? Because I mentioned it, and I had to go into the Statue of Liberty stuff. And I said, nobody's been to the torch since 1916 when this event occurred. Black Tom, it was damaged or whatever and closed. And she's like, I've been to the torch. And I'm like, what? Driving, and I'm like, hold up. I'm like, hit the brakes. I'm like, what do you mean you've been in the torch? When was this? And it was 1960. She went with my grandfather, and they went to a church in New York. It was a family trip. My grandmother stayed at the Crown, the Crown, with my aunt, who was just a baby. And my mom was 10 years old, so my aunt must have been 1 year old. And it was too treacherous to go up to the torch. My grandpa wanted to go up, and he took my mom because she was like 10 years old. And she remembers climbing up that thing. She was really scared. So she remembers the Crown, and she remembers going to the torch, going out around it. Other people were going up and around it, taking pictures. And she just couldn't wait to get back down because it was just like too much for her at that age. She was pretty scared. So it's a definite memory. You know what I mean? She was a little traumatized by it even. And then to hear that this is the way it is now, it was quite disturbing to her. But she's grateful that she was able to share it with us. And
it's sitting on a star fort.
Yeah.
And that's the point I want to make. I want to get to the star fort. What is the Statue of Liberty representing? What if we come to the conclusion that Statue of Liberty is?
I know.
Go ahead.
Well, if we're in the short season of Satan, like a lot of us think, if you look at it, the feet on the Statue of Liberty, it's breaking the chain. It's locked in and it's let loose. And it would make sense if 1776 was maybe when it started, that he'd make himself his little plaque and a statue, because it's identical to the painting of Lucifer, other than the Owen Wilson face now. It's turned into like a dude now. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems that would be a representation of, okay, now I'm in charge kind of thing. That's my
So not only is it not a Lady Liberty, it's actually,
it's Owen Wilson.
I'm gonna fill my coffee. Just keep talking. I'm listening. All right. I'm gonna fill my coffee.
So I was thinking about it earlier, and I'm thinking about where it was on Ellis Island, that big circle that's empty now. It's just a circle that you walk around. What are you doing? No, anyway. Yeah. So.
And when I went there with my friend, we were I was like 18, I think. And he lived out there. We didn't have any money. We didn't have the money to get on a ferry and go through the middle of wherever the harbor is and go circle around and get on the thing.
Yeah, I remember we walked Ellis Island to get to the Statue of Liberty now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember we went on it, and I have pictures. I sent shots of it to Brian, but I was inside the statue, and I didn't go all the way up. But I have pictures of people on this staircase above me. I can't prove that that's where they're going, but that's where they were heading. We didn't go there.
There's only one way to go after the crown, and that's up the arm. And my mom even said it wasn't even really like a staircase. It was more like a ladder she had to scale up. It was like a scaffolding ladder up through the arm, and it kind of twisted and stuff. And then there was this little door. They go out, and anyway.
And it was interesting. I'll find it if I can. Maybe I'll send it to Brian. That there's a show that we were watching. We watch these like detective shows from England and whatever. And the whole way that they were able to prove that someone was not where they were is they talked about how they were in the torch, or they were in the statue going into the torch. Like, it's in the actual dialogue, and it doesn't even make sense if you're not allowed anymore. And that's, if anyone's not familiar, when Brian comes back, that's where Black Tom comes into play, is because of this event no one had ever heard of, the largest terrorist attack on soil, apparently, U.S. soil. It damaged that to where no one's gone in it since what year? I don't remember.
1916 is when the event happened. It was they snuck in and blew up the armaments on Black Tom. It was holding armaments. It was a 5.0 on the Richter scale. It was felt in Philadelphia. This is how powerful these explosions were. And the torch was damaged due to some kind of debris that flew with the explosion itself. The only thing that goes on in the torch is maintenance, and that's it. No tourists have been allowed up there. I guess they probably figured, also if you could factor in the treacherousness of it, and now, lawsuits and all this stuff like that, they probably just figured it would also be better just not even let people go up there, because it's not an easy climb. And, we've only gotten slow, sick, and dying since 1960.
And just like with many of these things, like all of a sudden in 2016, USA Today is asking Anthony Daniels what's up with the silver leg in Star Wars. Also in 2017, all of a sudden, History channels start popping up with videos talking about, Black Tom and why you've never heard about it. It was just swept under the rug and all this. And it's like, this is all so suspicious and obvious. You can't sweep this under the rug. First off, New York City. I mean, we're not talking the middle of nowhere. We're talking about like the biggest city. Okay, right. And the fact that 1 million pounds of TNT got blown off. And if you look at the damage, there's like just absolute crushed buildings and all this.
So check this out, right? Like what Brian's saying here. And I remember, Brian, when you saw that video when they talk about sweeping it under the rug, because I had seen it too. Me and you were talking about it, and because you're like, have you heard about Black Tom? And I'm like, yeah, isn't it that thing they said they just swept under the rug? They didn't teach it to us at all in school. 9/11 comes around, they're like, the first terrorist attack ever on American soil. This was not some small explosion, guys. It was like 5 on the Richter scale. They felt it in Philly.
Why wasn't it discussed every single time they talked about the event that happened in 2001? They should have said, not since Black Tom have we had this happen.
They would have repeatedly showed the damaged arm of the statue before they made any repairs to it in footage of 9/11, if that had been the case.
Why was that not in history books? Why?
Oh, here we got a new one. Mac TV had never heard of Black Tom until now.
And Jen described it very well. 2 German spies snuck in 1916. Black Tom was an island in New York Harbor that had a munitions depot. And that story has changed, by the way, as well. It originally was 100,000 pounds of TNT. Now it's up to like 1 million pounds of TNT, and they're calling it like the largest non-nuclear man-made explosion in the history of the world.
Pause your thought right there. How about the Japanese balloon bombs? When I first looked at the Japanese balloon bombs, which is something else they don't talk about in history, it was like a handful made it over into the U.S. and blew up. And then by the time me and you got done covering that, like months later, we covered it again. And I'm like, dude, they made it halfway into the country, and there's like 400 of them now. Before they only made it to the coastline of the west coast of America, and maybe a little bit inland on one.
Yeah, it was like they made it to Oregon, and like that was it.
Yeah. Now they're like making it all the way in, like to the Mississippi and stuff, and blowing people up and everything left and right. Japanese balloon bombs. Check them out, guys.
And there's another attack too that people don't know about called the Kingsland explosion, which is 2 years after in New Jersey, where 40 buildings were blown up and 500,000 artillery shells in the air and all this shit. It's just fucking crazy.
I just can't understand why they would leave any of this out. Back to the Statue of Liberty and what it's standing on now. Okay, so I was thinking about that, and I was like, okay, so they want us to think it's a lady. There's that, and they want us to think it's about liberty, which is something that's supposed to be in our best interest, but you really don't want liberty because liberty only allows you to go somewhere for a little bit of time before you go back and got to go do this other stuff. You want you want to be free, and freedom and free is two different things. Don't get those two twisted. You can't give freedom to somebody who's free. And when you're in freedom, you have freedom, then you can be taken out of freedom. But if you're free, you're just free. So we're trapped in our language that way, but that's not the point here. The point here is that this Lucifer statue with 1776 on his tablets breaking his chains is stepping out of a star. And he is a star. Because all right, first off, because like what I'm trying to say is the luminaries are the angels, okay? They are the stars. And he's on a star fort. Well, we're calling it a star fort. It doesn't even look like the average star fort that we would consider a star fort to look like. So there's that. But anyway, this just is more proof in my mind that is actually Lucifer because he was the morning star. He's on a star fort. He's breaking his chains in 1776. So there's that, and I just wanted to point that out. We talk about the star fort that it's always on, but what is the significance of the change and then why is it now on a star? Because all is being revealed to us if you have the eye, and it's, he's the morning star. It is Lucifer. And that's what we have in our, amazing that we've gone all this time thinking that this is some Statue of Liberty from France and all this stuff. It's just, we don't know anything.
No, from France.
But yeah, so when the star fort stuff comes up, maybe you guys can factor that in because I think it's definitely part of it. It's showing us more of who he is, who that is, what it's representing. That's why it's there. In my opinion, it feels right to me. Let's put it that way. I mean, disagree. That's good too.
How about Moses? He has horns.
No,
horny Moses.
Moses.
Well, I was going to get you started on David and Goliath.
Oh, don't get me started, David and Goliath. That's the weirdest stuff.
CFM, you got to tell him about the painting of God with his thing drooping down in the back.
Well, yeah, I think I might have talked with Brian about it at the time, but yeah, it's if you go
when I
on
went out to visit you, it got worse.
Yeah, if you go on the Sistine Chapel where they have the hand of God touching Adam, which is all messed up now because Adam's hand is higher than God, and it's like limp now. It's just all weird.
It's like, whatever.
And then, like, literally the next panel over, it's God mooning us. His ass is hanging out. And I remember when that Mandela effect change happened when I was reading the scriptures because I said to my wife, this is weird. I remember him telling Moses, look, if you look at my face, like, it'll melt like in that movie. So I'm going to put you in this rock. I'm going to cover it with my hand and walk past you, which he still says. But then he says, and then I'm going to remove my hand and you'll see my back parts. I'm like, what the heck? God's showing Moses his butt, and now it's painted on the Sistine Chapel. And I brought it up on these shows, and then one show, Jen and I were watching when you were out in California, you can see his jewels and stuff starting to appear. It's really bizarre. It's just blasphemy.
When it first changed, it was kind of like dipping down, and you could see the crack sticking out, right?
Yeah, like a plumber's crack.
Almost the top of the curve of the button. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And then when I'm out at CFM's house and we're looking at it, I mean, literally, it was almost like if you looked at it and you looked away and you look back at it, it's like it's worse. It kept falling down further. And to the point now where you could almost see, up under.
Yeah. If the guy's in the chat, his pants are on the ground,
Yeah.
Share my screen.
Oh, you got it? Yeah. Hold on.
Yeah.
I got it. Hold on. Okay, so there's that one. We're looking for the other one.
Yeah, but that's interesting because look at that. Like, Adam's still higher than God, but he's got a limp wrist.
Oh, this wasn't what you were looking for. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're looking for the one where he's on.
Can you scroll up from that, or that's just that one?
It's one of those. This one.
Okay.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. But
I want to show it. If you guys can bring it up, one of you, because.
Well, I mean, I have it on my own photos, but let me see if I can find it online.
So these changes, like this type here, is a negative in my opinion because they're trying to elevate man higher than God, right? And just like Lucifer wants to be like the most high, he wants all of us to think, we're better than God too, because he's better than God, whatever, suck Satan's banana. And that is definitely a negative. Also, with
Sucking
God-
Satan's banana would definitely be a menu.
God's wardrobe malfunction here on this painting is just
Okay.
too much. It's like, come on.
All right, I found
Is
it on
gay
a web
overtone?
page.
What is it? I don't know.
Here we go.
He's wide
Jen.
open now.
Let's
I guess
see.
he's all inclusive. Okay, here we go. Here we go.
Tom Hanks definitely sucks Satan's banana.
I'm liking this banana talk. It's kind of funny. There you go.
Guys, look at that. Look at that. I mean, I hate to have you look at it, but there it is.
Yeah, because
You can
Jen,
see
like,
the-
she was describing literally this was right about, I'd say, here.
Uh-huh.
And now it's dropped so far down, you're starting, I don't know, it's getting really odd and questionable. But if you were able to see, the other painting is, I think it's like right above this or something. It's like right next to it. And, you know, I've always had the humor of my 13-year-old self. I would have noticed that when I got to visit there. Why wouldn't everyone be saying, oh, and right next to that famous painting is God's ass, you know? But no, it was never there. But now it is.
Just
I
like
mean,
Jesus
there-
beating off in the river. Nobody ever made jokes about that when we were little,
Right.
but you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
again, the sexual overtone, connotation, masturbation, the butt sticking out here saying, you know, hey, come say hi, is all, you know, all that stuff that goes against the natural order of things, you know, that we're expected here in this physical world to be all inclusive on, and all that stuff, or we'll, you know, get ostracized from society at this point, I guess, if you don't agree with what they're doing now. But this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to bring in the profane and have us be a part of it by this all inclusiveness. And, you know, if God says that's not the way to, or we can see with our own eyes, it's not the natural order of things.
Well,
That's
just that
like
passage alone where it's,
that's what you choose, but I don't have to accept this as a norm. It's not normal. You know, there's an outdoor and an indoor, and you know, you don't go in the outdoor, in my opinion. And
That one
there's a natural
passage,
order to things.
where it was about God's return in it, or the day of the Lord, and it was 2 men in a field and 2 women grinding at the mill. And now it's completely sounding homosexual. It's 2 men in bed and 2 women just grinding together.
Yep.
It's
And
what
not
you're
only
saying,
that,
man.
we're seeing that society is expecting heterosexual men to accept and be attracted to and want to have full-on relationships with these people who are pretending to be women and all this other stuff, mutilation and everything. That's becoming a thing. They're actually even being targeted in such a way that, you know, they're shaming these men who are heterosexual, who don't want to engage in these types of relationships. And these people don't feel like they should have to even disclose that they've changed themselves in any kind of way. So there's a deception there. You know what I mean? It's just like, this is me. I've changed, and I'm going to be the authentic me, and I don't want you to ever even know that I was anything else, because I really wasn't anything else. I was just, God made a mistake. He put me in the wrong body. It comes down to that. God made a mistake. And God don't make mistakes. Things happen for a reason. People are born with deformities for a reason. It's not always God's plan to have that happen. But, you know, how somebody handles it through life and their family makes a huge difference in that situation. However, our environment is so toxic that we do it to ourselves and allow it to be done to us, that we have these types of things happening. God doesn't plan for somebody to be raped. This happens here in this world, in Satan's world. You know, it's about how you handle these things after the fact, in my opinion. I don't know where I was going with all that, but I was heading somewhere. God, anyway, this whole
Down on my knees and I pretend to pray.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
yeah, pretend to pray. What's that? That's another negative. It's mocking, you know, all this stuff. When they, in the Bible, when they talk about taking Jesus down from the cross, it does not say they took him down and put him in. They say they took it down and put it in. Now, would you ever say that about your loved ones when they pass away? Okay, we're going to put it in a body bag now and take it over to the funeral home.
And
my
then,
mother would smack me into the middle of next week if I ever said something like that.
Put it in a body bag, Johnny.
and in Acts, they take him down from a tree 3 different times.
Yeah, remember the tree thing, Brian? We did that on your show.
Yeah.
All the
Yeah,
paintings.
5:30 they hung Jesus from a tree
Up the Calvary Hill and get. Is he not carrying?
Well, I mean, they're carrying tables, couches, and trees now. These guys are strong, man.
Yeah,
Built like
Moses goes up on the mountain and comes down with tables. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, and horns.
And horns, apparently. Yeah.
What's
But see,
that mean? He's horny, right? And he's got a table, right? I heard Will Smith was in a room with 9 guys and a table in the middle. What's that mean? Somebody's getting better.
I don't want to know what that is.
I don't know what you're talking about there.
I don't know about Will
I'm
Smith.
just saying, I'm probably gonna take it down for saying that stuff. I've got 156 people.
The thing is the whole thing with Moses coming down with tables. Like, there's jokes that don't make sense anymore. There was a funny joke I used to tell that Moses was the first guy that got information from the cloud on a tablet. Well, that joke doesn't make sense anymore because it's a table. It's a funny joke.
Table? I mean, that's ridiculous. Who puts? I just don't get it.
Well, letters are just vanishing. His T left. Just like, was it the Eagles or just Eagles?
Well, just like you have had a dog named after Samson, and your dog had a P in his name, and now Samson's never had a P, and Delilah never cut his hair. So
yeah, freaky. That was so weird.
Really
yeah,
crazy stuff that's happening. It's amazing to see. It really is. And what's more amazing is the cognitive dissonance when you see that happening. You talk to people, and
these deniers. I'll tell you what. All these people that denied the Mandela effect, but inside, I mean, they know it was mirror, mirror. They remember the cornucopia with Fruit of the Loom. They remember Haas Avocados. They would sing "A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood." So
there's people who are deep thinkers and go deep, and there's people who are shallow and shallow thinkers, and they can't, and they never will go further than that. And it's just the way it is with them. It could be like the separation of the wheat and the tares. We see a clear separation in the reality of what we're experiencing and gaining this knowledge and truth and moving towards something. We're all headed towards something. We all can feel it. Is this just going to go on and on forever like this until one day we wake up and our whole world is completely different? Or is it just to the point where it's like getting humanity to wake up and snap out of it, check it out, something's going on here, and then if you figure out what's going on, then you can get ready. But that window's closing.
But like, for instance, they're always a brick to the face. I feel I'm reading the scriptures, and Mike, I always say my favorite book, there's so much in Job, and then all of a sudden, one of the times I read it, he says, the Lord hath gave and hath taken, like it's all past tense. So that line that everyone knows, the Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away, he's never said that now in history. He says it in a past tense. It already happened. It changes the whole meaning.
Yep.
Right.
Got a video on that one on my channel. That's a big one. They say it like every week.
Yeah.
Remember Moneybags, man? He did a lot of stuff. I don't even know if he's still around. I lost the subscription.
Yeah, he's around.
And I talked to him at the very beginning because his name changed for me. It was Moneybag 76, and now it's 73. And I make jokes about it, but Brian, we used to do shows together all the time, and I remember him with just one E, and now he has another one, which is odd because he doesn't remember that, but other people do too.
Well, you pronounce it Staveley, but the way it's spelled, it would be Staveley, right?
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I tried to get an answer on how to pronounce our last name. Oh, not even pronounce it. Like, does it have 2 syllables or 3? And I couldn't even get a clear answer from anybody. So I don't even know how many syllables are in my last name. Isn't that fucking terrible?
That's fantastic.
The
I love it.
Mandela effect and you have a very crazy symbiotic relationship, I must say.
They're very close, the two of them.
It's like it was actually watching and listening and anticipating because you are one of the only people that I've ever really come across who has been so passionate and so certain and have the evidence to back it up and to put it out there in such a way that nobody can touch you. I've watched you, even all the California stuff and everything. And I think you give whatever this thing is a real run for its money. And it was trolling you for a while.
Yeah. We should just change it to the Staveley effect at this point.
Right?
Don't you think? Like his town changes, Black Tom shows up in his backyard. It was just constant.
I like that we were calling all the places in Centerville, asking them where Centerville is, and they're like, and you're like, it says Centralville. I don't what Centerville. What is it?
I mean, the cab companies. I called every cab company, and they were getting like triggered. Like, I would even tell them it says Centralville on the map. What are you talking about? It's Centerville. City Hall even told me it was Centerville.
I like all the people in the chat that remember Moneybag 76 and you with one E. That's fantastic.
I remember the dose of reality. I remember that. And then somehow it just went dose of reality. And I thought, well, maybe it's just,
I don't know.
But yeah, I never really thought much of it, but I knew other people had said stuff about it.
Yeah, other people have, and I just think that that's weird. I don't know. I'm sure I've said both many times. I would think. I mean,
I think it's fascinating because your whole name change thing. You talk about, say, Sally Fields no longer has the S, and then she acts like she's never had it, and then it comes to you, and it did. It happened to you, and in your mind, that's always been there. It's interesting how that works.
Yeah, I mean, for sure.
Brian, could you get into a little bit about the German stuff? And like, because we have this one version of his story, the one they teach us in the history books about the Germans and all that stuff like that. But you talk about a battle that took place right off the shores of America, like around North Carolina, and also something right up around your area, out back your house, in an area of the ocean up near you, or something with the Germans.
So the other big thing besides Black Tom is this thing, Torpedo Alley, right? Where 5,000 Americans were supposedly killed, 500 merchant marine ships sunk. From 8 German U-boats that sat out just a few hundred feet out off the coast of North Carolina. And then the thing you're talking about is there's all of a sudden this story about a German torpedo in the beach that right out the window of my mother's apartment at the time, like a couple of years ago, like in Cape Cod. And I don't remember the Germans ever having a torpedo land on Cape Cod. So it's pretty wild. Plus, then there's all these other German names that are Mandela effects. For me, the swastika is tilted at a 45-degree angle now, unlike all the other swastikas.
That's weird.
Hitler's mustache looks different. He has blue eyes. Mm-hmm. You have all these names that are Mandela affected: F.A.O. Schwartz, Charles M. Schultz, Werner von Braun. These are all German names. Haas Avocados is German. Volkswagen is German. Mm-hmm, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Germans all over this. It's crazy. It's really, really crazy. Now, we think, well, if the Germans did win, right, what would the world have looked like? If anybody's seen The Man in the High Castle, that's where we'd be at right now. So that would be like the worst case scenario if they won, the world would just fall into darkness, and it would be like, not good at all for anybody. So it's weird because when these Mandela effects happen, it's always for a negative, it seems. And clearly that would be a negative, but it seems like the whole thing is, even the the people who were on the German side, like China and Italy and all that stuff like that, I think it was, have other roles that they play now that are bigger than what they were in the original story of World War I. Can you guys see this? This is German bird planes here.
That's
the Germans had bird planes, guys. Have you ever learned that before? Crazy.
And if you put in the Red Baron's airplane, he now has 3 levels to his.
Yeah, I'm going to show that in a minute. That's crazy. That is crazy.
Snoopy.
I never learned about
Hindenburg. We talked about the Hindenburg earlier. German.
Yeah,
the Zapruder film. Zapruder's a German.
German.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. Wow. Again, it's so all over the place, though. You still can't nail it down. Even when you feel like you got a part of it nailed down, that part will shift. You'll go back and look at how many times did we do things on Germany, and each time we went back and it was like, oh my God, dude, you're not going to believe what we found.
I mean, don't forget the big one, one of the most obvious ones, about as obvious as the plane engines, fucking razzle dazzle. I mean,
that was one of my first videos, razzle dazzle camouflage. Yeah. That was crazy. We'll show that in just a minute. Guys, look at these bird planes. I mean, literally, the wings flapped up and down, and this tail went like, it was like a bird, literally. And this was the first plane they used to drop bombs on people. I never heard of it.
C3PO says, isn't Zapruder Israeli? Maybe I was wrong. I thought he was German. So I might be mistaken about that. Whatever.
You're on 0.99% of the time.
Well, yeah, and fuck him in his fake video, anyways.
I mean, so even from below, guys, they look like a bird. I mean, how did we miss not learning
That's
about
where they got, is it a bird, is it a plane? It's Superman, right?
1912. 1912, they had and they didn't just have a few, they had a whole flock of them. I used to have a picture of this field with like 20 of these things lined up. It looked like a flock of birds. It's crazy.
Wow.
Absolutely crazy. Germans had some other level of thinking with engineering. I mean, even if you look at Germany, old world Germany, they had man-made canals through everything. Everything was just amazing, crazy. Oh, and I did have that one picture too, where they captured one of these.
Remember the fucking pyramid in New York of the German helmets?
Yeah, I brought that one to you. Okay, let me get off this plane, and then we'll look at the pyramid helmets, because now I've never learned about that shit neither. Apparently, World War I, when we won, we brought back a bunch of German helmets, the kinds with the spikes on them, those ones that they had, and made pyramids out of them on Victory Way, which just happens to be out front of Grand Central Station.
Which doesn't exist.
Exactly. Grand Central Station. Yep. Grand Central Terminal. Are you kidding me? I mean,
yeah.
Never, ever was taught that. Not even once.
Okay, and while she's bringing this up, Brian, I have to ask. When I said being Staveley was instead of Mandela effect, they say it should mean getting lost in a grocery store. Did you get lost in a grocery store? What's the story?
No, there's this little thing I like to talk about called if I locked 100 people in a grocery store, and then I asked them what the queen said in the mirror of Snow White. 100 of them are going to tell me mirror, mirror. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just a little thought experiment I have. I'm not really going to lock 100 people in a grocery store. But like if I did and I locked 100 adults in a grocery store, I could get them with 10 solid gigantic Mandela effects, 100% down the line. And I shouldn't be able to do that if the Mandela effect was a psyop. There's also this other thing I talk about called my uncle's graduation video, which I think is a good story.
Look on the screen. That's that red baron with 3 lines on 3 wings.
Oh my God. That thing looks ridiculous.
Where to go? Yeah. Isn't that weird? So now that's who's look at the one that one. I think the next time we see it, there'll be 4. I think it's just growing. That's weird. Anyways, you were saying, what was that other story about?
My uncle's graduation video. We're not talking about there's a Mandela effect in my uncle's graduation video. We're talking about the land masses of the earth are in the wrong place, and every map and globe has supernaturally changed to represent that. You can see that every Bible in the world is being supernaturally rewritten. The human anatomy's changed, and oh, by the way, a bunch of movies, songs, products, and everything else has changed. And it's all stuff that so many of it. It's not like it's my uncle's graduation video, and I'm telling you, there's a Mandela effect in it, and you can't go and check. We're telling you Star Wars has changed, the KJV Bible. These are things in your house.
This one drove me crazy. You guys, I saw you both present this razzle dazzle on that show. That one blew my mind. I had never seen this in my life before that. All these crazy patterns. How's that camouflage? Makes no sense.
It's so stupid.
It's ridiculous. Razzle dazzle. Even the name is stupid.
So in this one image, sorry about this, you can see the ship in its regular form, and then they think that if you put these odd, weird, lines and stuff going all different directions, that the enemy would not be able to see if they're part of the ship they're hit.
I think it was a giant zebra.
But I think it makes it stick out even more. It doesn't help in any kind of way. I mean, are you kidding me right now?
I think there's a ship. No, it's just a zebra. Don't worry. Okay.
And how did we not learn about this? Even vets don't remember hearing about these things. And recently, I was telling you, Brian, after we started talking about this Mandela effect, I started seeing videos on this thing, like in documentaries that would pop up if something was showing like the South Pacific Fleet or something, and then there'd be a dazzle camouflage in there somewhere. I'm like, look at these motherfuckers are trying to sneak it in. Re-educate people.
Yeah, I call that reality reinforcement. That's what the fucking game show Jeopardy seems to be all about. Constantly trying to reinforce the new reality on people. So you know how I'll tell the story real quick. You know how obviously we know how Cuba has been Mandela affected, and if anybody doesn't know, I want you to really picture in your head the size and location of Cuba in relation to Florida. Okay, so if you're like me and Jen and probably many others, you remember a small island to the southeast of Florida. Well, now Cuba's so big, it's about the size of Florida, and it's also way west of it, and it's like blocking a big portion of the Gulf of Mexico. So there was a question on Jeopardy. Joe Martinez made a video on it. $400 question. Now, people on Jeopardy, they're definitely like, quote unquote, book smart. Basic geography would be simple for them. You would think they would definitely have some advanced geographical knowledge. And the question was literally as simple as like, what's the name of the island that's like kind of blocking the Gulf of Mexico right there? Not a single person even made a guess because nobody fucking remembers Cuba being there. And that game show is constantly doing that. They're constantly talking about the new reality stuff and trying to reinforce it with their little bullshit questions.
Yeah, well, they do that every year with the JFK assassination anniversary too. Especially when I started covering it, and I started realizing they're showing more of it. Like they're driving home more the idea of 6 people in the car, and people are acclimating to it. And like I noticed after November, if I was asking people about how many went in the car towards the end of all of this, when I kind of stopped asking, more and more people were starting to say 6 because they had just saw it. And I was like, oh, they're re-educating them now. Now it's like, I can't ask anymore. I know that people confirmed my memory. The whole reason I asked them if there was 4 people in the car, what they remember, was to validate my memory. And I have proof of it. I videoed it because I know what I saw and it's not going to change. And I know we're not misremembering. It's ingrained in them. It's like seared into their brain that JFK thing, just like 9/11 is seared into our brains for, our generation. And it's an important event to them. They take it very seriously and they get very emotional when they talk about it. It's very real to them still. And it's just, I don't even know.
Well, the thing is, and we've talked about this, if, whatever these things are, some people call them resets, whatever, but the next generation coming up, like we see these changes, but the people that are in charge of this, the whatever psyop that goes on in this world, they go in the long term. That 2001 thing happened over a 30-year period. So like they got a long game on this. These are changes that are happening. So not us or maybe even our children, but like my grandchildren, and they're growing up now in this new reality where they go on Google or even if, whatever they do, it's always going to be the new things now. They're going to always know Dilemma with 2 M's and think people are weird when they say the other and Kit Kat with no dash. That's their reality to them. So when it's so easy to change, like you don't have to book burn anymore, because I'd say almost 90%, if not higher now, all our information is on these screens. And with the click of a button, you can change a Wikipedia page and you can change these things. And so it's going to be so easy to deceive the next generation coming up.
Well, the thing is that it's also this Mandela effect, quantum effect, whatever this thing is, us somewhere, it's leaving us in a position where I always said this, to me, it seemed like a war on truth, right? Mm-hmm. Because what's true today will not be true tomorrow. There was 6 people in that car. I proved it. Everybody remembers it. Okay. But now that's not true. Now what we see is that story that's completely changed. Now I can't say that I remember anything about that event because it's all changed. It's not my memory. I'm not going to change my mind. I'm not going to accept this new reality because that's not where I'm from. From in the consciousness wise, not like I flipped dimensions or anything like that. Because I used to feel like that. I used to feel like somehow something happened and we got the 6-seater with 6 people and they're over there in another dimension saying, what the fuck is this 4-seater with these 4 people? Like, where's the other 2 at and stuff? Why did this car change? That's what I was thinking, something like that was happening. And it's not like that, really. We're just figuring out that nothing that we've been told is the way it works. And we always had the power to co-create and change things here. but we've never been honed in and tuned into our true nature, our souls, what's beyond the veil here of consciousness on our plane. We're disconnected from that. And we live in a fear-based mind control consciousness, which you can't thrive and create and everything in those types of mindsets and environments for your on a soul level. And so I think this is very telling. Seeing this happen, we think it's supernatural because we think, everything's solid. It doesn't change. This is this, and this story is that, and it's not. We've never perceived that anything would change up on us. Jesus is the truth, the way, and the life. There's a war on truth right now. Okay, whatever this is, it's destroying truth and changing it. And what Lucifer can do is he can take what's there, but he can't create. He can only take what's there like brags and take some S's off of it and go walking away laughing like he did something, okay? But we all know it was brags. So he's not actually creating anything except a false paradigm reality for these other people coming up and accepting this reality, because that's what he wants. He wants to create this off twisted reality that doesn't make any sense, and everybody be a part of it and be okay with it and accept it. I'm never accepting it. I'm sorry. I'll go to the guillotine to get my head chopped off. There was 4 people in that car and all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? And it's never going to change for me. Other people will be like, yeah, whatever. I just misremembered. I confabulated all over myself. Sorry.
It's pathetic watching people just go and just keep saying that and thinking that that's what's going on, and accusing us of falling for some form of psyop. Like I always say, with all the so many of us, a lot of us are into like a lot of different things, but most of us came through some form of psyops along the way. And those of us that did, we all know what you do when you look into those. You break down every little fucking fake shooting and rocket launch and all this type of stuff. Well, it's funny that the Mandela effect, these people call it a psyop, but like, where are all the psyop people like showing you how the psyop's done? I don't see like any of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They completely avoid it. Cowards.
And there's what you call it. Oh, sorry, Jen, go ahead.
No, I used to get pissed at those people and be insulted. You bring all this truth. You don't, you lay it all out. Great presentation, and they just still poo-poo all over everything, and you're just like scratching your head, walking away. Like you can't get through the. But at this point in the stage of the game, for me, I don't get pissed with them. I don't stay too long in that, and then I actually at this point pity them because they're going to get left behind in some way or another, or they'll just be on the back end of this huge wave that we're all flowing in. Some of us on some topics are way ahead of the wave, ahead of the curve, if you will. And there's other people that come in behind. Like I just had somebody recently who's starting to get a few topics that I talk about on a bigger channel, realizing that, maybe that this is the way it is. And I'm just like, welcome to the party, pal. Where you been? We've been waiting for you, But, 4 years ago, I was a crazy one, or all this other stuff, or it was inconceivable to those people at the time. It's just, us, we're all headed there. It's some of us are going to get there sooner on certain topics, and some of us are going to take a little longer. People like Brian and CFM and I, we all came into this in our own time, but at the same time, it took us nothing to get there. When I hit Flat Earth, I watched like 2 or 3 videos, Eric DeBay, ODD, and the crazy guy, what's his name? The painting or photo.
Oh, math power.
And I was like, oh, it's flat. I didn't have to look out my window. I'm like, I flew in planes all this time, and I'm thinking I'm awake on all these different levels, and here at 45, I didn't know. I just didn't know.
Well, it's like the Mandela effect, the anchor memory ones that really get you, like you were saying, Brian, because my mother's birthday was always around Thanksgiving. We were always joking. Either she had to cook on it or right around it. And now, of course, it's no longer the 3rd Thursday. It's the 4th Thursday of the month. It rarely hits her birthday anymore.
That's weird.
And why would my entire family remember her birthday wrong? You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. You can't explain that one away to me because it's personal.
The thing there's many things that's unique about the Mandela effect, but one of the things that's most unique about it, compared to all the other stuff that we've looked into over the last several years, that all has to do with like digging through deception and trying to find out what the truth is, right? And the Mandela effect is just totally about trusting yourself and your experiences And it's so fucking strange that people get to such a level to know about all the lies in this realm.
Yes.
And then they dismiss the Mandela effect and want to throw away their senses. And it's
those
like,
are those
holy
fact checker
shit,
people, very analytical thinking
Crazy.
people. They if they don't have all the answers lined up and whatever, they don't want to deal with it. It's like, whatever, that's whatever. Get your shit together, come back and see me. And then you do, and they still don't get it. And it's definitely something to see. We experience it, all of us, on different levels with different people. I get that. We're not always all going to be on the same page. But when you have something like the Mandela effect, or even other topics that are pretty big, and a lot of people see it and get it, because there's a lot of people that see the Mandela effect and get it. And then you have these other people who seem to be really smart, got their shit together, got a good show, channel, all these subscribers or whatever, and they just don't get it, don't want to touch it, don't want to hear it, and it's hard to understand. It really is.
A big part of it is they don't have enough discernment, and that like across the board, they're not well rounded. And if they did, they would see through the disinformation that's put out about the Mandela effect, because what they're regurgitating is the shit you see in the articles about we are mixing up the cornucopia with images of Thanksgiving, and then the Monopoly Man, we're mixing up with Mr. Peanut and all this bullshit. And it's like, it's so cringy when these Mandela effect deniers say that and act like they've come up with something clever. It's like, you're falling for the psyop. These people look like they're covering the Mandela effect. They'll give you a top 40 list or something with real changes on there for the most part. I'm not going to vouch for these articles, but usually the changes are legit. But then it's just a bunch of fucking bullshit on top of it, and it never talks about people think that it's supernatural. And it literally, the articles never even mention that we have physical residue. It's like so dishonest.
Yeah.
And then they'll point you towards CERN and all this bullshit. That's
you'll come at them with all this residue, all this proof. You'll lay it out, and you maybe crunched it all into 5-minute conversation. Boom, 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 and they'll come up with that, jackwagon response of, that's because you were reading the wrong version or something. That was the New Standard Edition, and you weren't in the King James. That's the problem. I just showed you all this proof, told you where to find it and all this stuff, and I've done the research, and I'm no dummy over here, right? Not that you're bragging or anything, but you're at that level of research where you're going to be thorough, and you should be respected for that, because people can see that from your work. And I feel that way also about my stuff too. I feel like I really put the time in to show the evidence of whatever it is I'm talking about. And for somebody to just come along and just roll over it is like, that. So, because I don't have this answer for you right now, then the whole rest of it's just gone. You can't tell somebody this is the Mandela effect and this is how it works and this is going to happen. There's been flip-flops where it goes back to the way it was before and then flips back again. How about Houston? We've had a problem. And you got everybody on board with finally that it changed. Weird. It goes and flips back to the way it was.
Yeah, that was weird.
So
I was showing, somebody just sent me this.
Nice.
It's completely messed up.
Here, hold on, let me put you on big screen there.
It's the Smokey the Bear, and of course he's no longer the, it's just Smokey Bear. And I've covered this on my show. If you write Smokey, for him, it's fine, or for like the cops on the highway. But if you want to say the room is smoky, you got to take the E out. It no longer exists, except in this guy. His name.
And he doesn't have overalls with his pants.
No, yeah, he's half naked.
No, his overalls are gone. His overalls are Mandela effect Yeah, and this is what I'm saying. That some of these changes are so obvious, like the fact that he had suspenders, they're completely gone. The Monopoly Man's monocle's gone. The cowl, all these Richard Simmons head
full screen.
Gone.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Jeez.
all the most obvious fucking things are gone. Look at Richard Simmons without the headband. He looks fucking stupid.
That looks so weird. And I covered this the other night. They did a new stupid little short with Pauly Shore in it.
Yeah.
And the thumbnail is him showing you he never had a bandana. It's more just that, like you're saying, reinforcing the new way to people. So they say it was never that way.
Well, this younger generation doesn't know any of the, we're this last generation before the internet. All of us here. By the time my kids were born, and my oldest is 34, will be 35, the internet was just coming out, all these games and stuff and everything. We didn't have none of that stuff. We remember things, and these are a lot of the things that are changing. But there is current things now, like the Fruit Loops and stuff. but they're acclimating right to it. And I think it has to do with the short attention deficit disorder that they've created with these phones and super quick TikTok videos and all this stuff like that, people don't remember that 2 years ago, this story ran and they're running it again because they can do that because that's how short people's memories are now. Mm-hmm. And we pick up the fact that, this article ran 2 years ago. What are they doing? They're pulling
how they found water on Mars for the first time, like 6 different times.
Yeah. Yeah, that was part of my thing when I was looking in the Mariner 9, this thing behind me, and in the article it says they found water, and I'm like, my whole life I thought I hadn't found it yet, but apparently found it in 1971, I think, or whatever, when this came.
Yeah, because I remember looking at the Mars pictures when I was still in the space. I was into that guy with the gray hair who always talked about the 19.5 on the planets and all this shit. I was really into space. And they were always looking to see if, satellite photos of Mars or something, if something looked like it was some ice maybe or some crystal.
Let's see, where is it? Yeah. Satellite photos with the light chain so you can see the stars at night.
Yeah, exactly.
This is you look up the Wikipedia page. I think it's still there. This is the NASA photo. It shows NASA in the corner and it's circling Mars with a light chain.
Yeah.
So my big question is, if we're on a flat plane and there's a dome above us, has anybody ever, a lot more flat earthers than I do probably, but has anybody ever wondered what the hell meteor crater is? Because clearly there's no meteors.
Yeah.
I know some people would speculate it's something that happens under the ground.
Yeah, like an electrical thing like we talk about maybe, yeah.
Or even having to do with the flood possibly, like those waters from below. That could be maybe like.
Oh, you mean ones that are already been here for a while? Yeah, I don't know.
And just like if you want to think about science, the moon, how did the asteroids, whatever that crashed into it, completely perpendicular? There's not a single one that isn't an exact circle, right? How did the ones that face us get past the Earth and zoom around it and then get perpendicular? Like, how did those happen? Like, none of their stories make sense.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
and when I see things in the sky, I think it's like an electrical thing, like maybe like a shooting star. Those look like some sort of discharge, like in the sky.
Almost like stripes and stuff.
Dude, one night I was driving home from work. This is like because before I moved next to my work, so I had an hour drive home, and I saw 6 shooting stars on my way home, and like 4 of them went right over the roof of my car in the direction I was going. Like,
wow.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So I have something to say about all this. Back when I used to do shows with Steve and we were always videoing the stars and stuff like that, you guys remember those videos, right? Mm-hmm. Bobby Stevens was on us and stuff. I had found something about a thing that they use, a plane or a ground-based type of, it looks like a weapon, right? And it shoots out these things and they go for really long distances. Like a plane could be flying, like say somewhere out in the Pacific Ocean, and shooting these things that look like shooting stars, right? And they go they're not like short bursts. They go really, really, really far on their own. And you notice meteors always look like they're low and within our atmosphere, like you said, how it just came right.
Uh-oh.
I saw 6 at once. I showed a video of this thing. She's
back.
It was crazy. I can't find it anymore, but they like the meteor showers, the whatever they say they are.
Jen, stop. What? Stop. Go back like 30 seconds because you froze up. So we kind of
we heard everything but the story.
Okay. Oh man. Okay, so check this out. The Earth's flat, guys. There's no meteor shower coming, okay? So what are these things, right? And I had found an article about these things that...
Wait a minute. Haven't you ever seen pictures from space, Jen?
Yeah, what's she talking about? There's a satellite right there.
They are working to fool us, okay? They don't just shoot rockets up and say they're going to space. They actually they fake the meteor showers, okay? Because this all brings you back to space. If you buy the meteor shower, then you're back in space and you're on their body.
Oh, I'm not. Yeah, I could buy that, but they just.
But I had a video of this.
The meteors killed the dinosaurs. See, that same story.
It looks very similar to those things that you see that are on the back of those military trucks, and they shoot those really quick rockets out of it.
I know what you mean.
It's in my outro. It's in my outro where they shoot those things.
It's like that, but they're smaller and there's a way more of them, and they go way quicker out. And that's the ground-based one. And they also have a plane that shoots them out. Now, these are not just flare things and stuff like that. I'm not talking about those planes. It was a whole thing on them. And they were saying that they're faking. These aren't real meteors shooting stars. It's these things that we're seeing. And I can't find it ever again. But, man, I had it on a show with Steve. And I was just like, it really made sense to me. Like, it was like clicked. Because what are these meteors?
I don't have any reason to doubt it. I mean, I think that it's very possible they're completely faking the moon. So the entire thing is like just projected.
Yeah.
We just don't know, and that's the.
I mean, the sun
part.
went from yellow light to white, so whatever,
Right? Yeah, we're really gonna fuck with them now. Let's make it white.
Yeah. Hey, do you want to finish up the JFK Mandela that I have, or are you good?
Yes. Let's get into your stuff, because you have some stuff on the back end of this whole scenario that deals with the aftermath, right?
Yeah, because this was something that bothers me besides the actual shooting event.
Here we go.
The moon is sus.
The moon is sus. Exactly. It's very sus. So everything I remember about this guy, Lee Harvey Oswald, that shot the president, he's in a white T-shirt. He's always in a white T-shirt. They all remember him in a white T-shirt. Here he is in a white T-shirt. Here's his mugshot in a white T-shirt. White T-shirt. That's even when you get to, they put a coat on him, but he's still in his white T-shirt. And even on IMDb, he has one, by the way. They all do. There's the same photo in the white T-shirt. Here's another view of him. And then you get to these reenactments. And once again, the white T-shirt, although we'll bring up this in a minute, he's in cuffs. And then you go to this reenactment. Once again, he's in the white T-shirt. This album cover of the actual shooting event, white T-shirt. And he's always been in a black sweater. And so that's a weird thing, because when he comes out just before he gets shot by Jack Ruby, he's in a black sweater with a collared shirt. And I went through the prison things and stuff, and I can't find anywhere they put people in black sweaters. And they're doing a transfer from, I think it was the county jail to the federal or state jail or something. And look, no handcuffs on this guy. It's weird as I'm looking at this now. Does he have 6 fingers like a Nephilim hand? What is this? 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know.
I agree with you on this. You do know this is a very old change, right? Did you know
that? But this is I thought I'd bring this up because you guys.
Yeah, I'm glad you did. Yeah, I'm glad you did. I was just not wondering if you have seen it like later than me type of thing, you know?
Yeah. No, and then
the video itself, when you watch the video of this whole thing happening, it's even more staged looking. And
I have it.
Weird commentary happening during it.
Yeah, I'll show you. I have it. But here's a couple things. So the story goes, there was 2 photographers that got the moment. This guy who came in second place that got this just before the shot. But what I'm questioning is not the fact that he took it, the angle he's at. Like, here's another. Like, he's elevated. So unless he had his camera on a selfie stick, which I don't think they had back then, what's he standing on? This is a parking garage. They came out of this door. And in fact, it's so staged, a car drives up right here. But where's this being shot from? Because you got to think who took that picture and how'd they get that? Did you? And then you go to the next one. That's what they call the money shot. And this is the guy that got the Pulitzer Prize, and the other guy came in second and got nothing. And but yeah, and then to me, 2 things are happening in this. Every time I've seen this photo, it looks like this, and like now I'm seeing extra. Like this guy looks added in almost. Like it's suddenly expanding this photo. But and of course, guess what you got, Jen? Red brick, right? Of course. Right. And the fact that he's in a black sweater now, you can't see if he gets shot, and there's no blood because it's white.
I remember the blood, and
I
remember it was a little bit more beat up too. Though I remember it's like maybe even a Band-Aid on his forehead or something where that cut is, and a little bit more because they roughed his ass up while he was in jail.
Yeah. And so this is a story about the guy that came in second that didn't get the actual shot, but
I don't remember a second shot. There was only Ruby. You're telling me there's a second shot now?
No, I'm saying second photo.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry.
And this proves that he had no handcuffs on. He's still alive here, and they're putting him in a stretcher.
They don't take you off to jail without putting handcuffs on your ass, okay?
Yeah.
This guy just was the president. Why would he not have handcuffs on? They should have shackles on him.
And if Chapu's watching, here's the same article in French. So I just had to throw that in there. And I don't know what this guy's doing, if he's getting ready for a football game, because he
looks like he's like taking a shit and trying to see if anybody's watching him.
Or he's protecting his groin from the next shot, maybe.
He's like, I gotta poop. I'm gonna poop my hands right here.
Bitch.
Oh, I see what you're saying. He heard the shots and he literally crapped himself. Okay, so there's that.
I'm going with he's covering his junk.
Right. And then, of course, that was the last day the band played together. I like that one. This is obviously photoshopped. Okay. But this isn't. This is the guy. He signed himself, and this guy signed himself, and the brother of the shooter signed this, and they sold it for like, I don't know, it was like $80,000 or something ridiculous. I don't know what they sell these things
like
for.
in every change that
it
happened,
looks like a nightclub performance.
And then they're even saying, yeah, it's all fake. It's an act. We're actors, and we'll even sign it for you.
Yeah, exactly. They're autographing it. Like, unbelievable. Wow. And then, let's see. Then you get this. The James Level, I think that's how you say his name. That's this guy, this famous dude making this weird face. He wrote this letter, and I thought it was interesting because it says, I transferred Ruby the next day, and he told me how he got into the basement. There was a break in security of approximately 12 seconds, and he took advantage of it. So you're telling me with all this security and all this stuff, like Ruby can just sneak in there in 12 seconds? Jack Ruby, this guy is the guy that snuck in there and shot the president's killer. Sure. And then I looked up prison outfits, and I defy someone to tell me when they've ever given out sweaters, black sweaters to prisoners, because I can't find it anywhere in history, and transfer them without handcuffs.
Okay, so Sovereign Soul says he was going to his arraignment. T-shirt was not appropriate. He wouldn't have been held for lack of evidence, so they captured.
That's not true from what I read. If we can look it up, I'll look it up before we leave. Yeah. But he was being transferred to a different prison.
Okay.
So maybe there's, that's the story I've seen and read. Maybe I'll look into that further.
I definitely remember the T-shirt, and I remember they didn't give a crap. Supposedly, like they were kind of like, he just killed the president in their fake scenario here, so he's enemy number one, and they're not going to be like, gentle with him. And he seemed like he was really,
I do remember him in the white shirt when he gets shot, and I don't remember him having the black sweater. However, to be fair, I don't think it's out of the question that somebody, I totally don't remember the black sweater. But if you're in jail and you're going to court, in some cases you can have a court outfit, clothes dropped off for you.
If that's the case, if he went to court. But from what I remember, he was being transferred. But I'll check. I could be wrong.
Have to check that, see what the narrative is.
Check myself.
We didn't shift it even. We don't even know yet.
And now let's get into the psyop of this part of it, where she says he's going to be fine. I mean, she literally saw his head blown up. He's going to be fine.
When did she say he's going to be fine? I don't remember that.
Oh, it's a flesh wound, like in Monty Python.
He is fine because nobody got shot that day.
Yeah, right? That's true.
Exactly.
Yeah, no,
so what is the Mandela effect telling us, since it's so damn shifty from top to bottom and everything in between? It's telling us that this whole thing was already a lie. And that's why, if this thing was true and it really happened, this would not be Mandela affected, in my opinion. This is why the one thing that I'm kind of like trying to nail down with this thing is that why are all these things changing, but there is a lot of stuff that hasn't changed and isn't changing. You know what I mean? So that's very interesting that we see a lot of lies that are shifting. People in Hollywood who suck Satan's banana, they're nothing but lies. They try to portray themselves as good people, and we should listen to them and buy their products and watch their movies. But actually, so because they are a lie, a walking lie, their name changes. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Cool.
I just like hearing you talk about the bananas. Okay, so next, this was so ridiculous. So besides he's going to be fine, says blood-soaked Jackie Kennedy. Okay, this made no sense to me. She's in the dress, and it's on her legs. Now remember in the article, it wasn't just blood; it was brain matter.
Oh yeah.
He's going to be fine.
That shit out of her hair for a week.
Put some fucking duct tape on it.
He's gonna be fine. Okay, but she's walking
It's like a
around.
hole in the ISS. We'll plug Kennedy's head with my finger. It'll be fine.
Now look, I'm sorry, but Lee Harvey Oswald can't go to an arraignment because he's got a bloody T-shirt on, but they're going to parade her around for America to see in blood, all the pictures, everything. Why didn't somebody get her a towel?
It gets even crazier. She actually did this thing with Johnson, and she's still all bloody.
Exactly.
See, they reenacted.
Harvey Oswald gets a nice shirt because he's going to an arraignment and he got some blood on him or whatever, and she's just walking around with brain matter all over her.
Yeah, and that leg is still covered in this.
You know what this was? This was to traumatize and convince people that this actually happened.
Of course.
That's all it is. It's all theatrical. It's for show. It's for emotion to anchor this memory in, and it's such a big thing. If it's a big enough lie, everybody will believe it.
Yeah, this dress is in the museum now, and it's interesting. Besides,
did they dry clean it?
Oh no, they leave it like this. I'm not kidding. It's in the museum somewhere, all bloody and gross.
Yeah,
and besides her changing and saying he's going to be fine now, they now have an article, because I always wondered, why did they just let her walk around like this? Well, now there's an article. Why was it was hidden away and they were able to anyways, she said that the Secret Service kept asking her to clean they wanted to clean her up, and you know what she said why she didn't want to? Let them see what they've done.
Oh God.
Yeah. It's really let the American people see what they've done. So they buy this fucking bullshit.
Okay, so a grieving widow who just lost her husband saw him blown apart in the car. She's probably traumatized, but no, she has enough to say, no, I don't want to be clean. Let them see what they've done. I mean, come on.
Mm-hmm.
This is to me, they keep changing it to
another thing I want to point out about when JFK gets hit in the neck before the headshot, the way he grabs his neck always bothered me ever since before the Mandela effect ever even happened, and I was into this whole enigma that is the JFK thing. The way he grabs his neck always looked really, really strange and bothered. I come across somebody that was, saying that, he didn't actually get shot. That it was a dummy. It was not a person. It was kind of like what do they call this thing? Like a mannequin.
Yeah.
And the way he grabs his neck and holds it and stuff is very kind of robotic looking to me, like almost like real edgy looking. And I just thought I'd put that out there.
Looks like a mannequin to me.
Yeah. So what's going on here, guys? Why would they want to traumatize a nation and then control them with fear-based mind control to then go and enter a war and kill people and kill their own kids and all this stuff so we're being manipulated on so many levels. It's insanity what's happening, really. And it's been happening. Clearly, this is nothing compared to even what's
JFK.
Yeah.
Okay, so check this out. So here's video of when Jack Ruby shoots him. So in the article I'm going to show you, there's two cameras, but clearly
isn't Jack Ruby a mobster?
No, he ran he might have been a mob, but he ran the burlesque club nearby. Right. That's why that picture had that woman
strolling right in here with a gun.
Yeah, it's a burlesque club. Is that like a strip club?
Yeah, strip club back in the day.
Yeah, you'd like it, Brian.
I don't like strip clubs. That fucking ass.
No, it's burlesque. It's better.
I ain't paying for the JJ.
No, isn't that the stupidest thing, Brian? Go there, throw money at a lady that will guarantee not have sex with you, and then go home for what?
Probably give you something.
Feels like the ultimate sucker move.
It is 100%. I never understood it. So check this out. So this is obviously one camera because it's behind the scenes before they walk out. Okay, so this is him coming out, and to me, this looks like movie footage. And if you know what I'm talking about, if anybody remembers the Twilight Zone episodes on TV, some of them were shot like on movie film, and it had a certain look. And then some of them, when they do it on a TV camera, it just look really wonky. And so here you've got movie footage, and then we get to this camera footage. Look,
this right here reminds me of like a soap opera from back in the day or something. It looks just like that. Somebody called action.
Right?
Being let out by Captain Fritz. There is a pussy.
Okay, so I mean, I don't want to get you in trouble of seeing the actual thing. I don't know how that works. But he comes out, and this Ruby guy, he just breaks right through. But see, now you've got this camera angle, and you had this camera angle. It's a different one, right? Mm-hmm. And then there's this camera angle. So there's at least 3 cameras here, we can say.
Right. They were all set and ready to go. They had the whole thing ready, just like a stage set, and the whole thing's an act. So they did this before they did the moon landing thing.
And then, look at this car comes in. Here, let me slow it down.
Yeah, like how does this car just come? Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, you watch it now. Again, I'm trying not to get where he gets shot, but his I mean, doesn't this look like some Unhappy Days or something?
Yeah, dude.
Now, the guy that says he's been shot over and over in this video, I'll go over that. But you can see that, like, they grab him, they take him into another room, and so now what the public saw was, I mean, I could act it out right now. I could have a cap gun. I could do a thing. A guy could fall down, and we could go in another room and say he's dead. That's all everyone saw. They didn't see anything more than that. They walk him into this room, and it's over.
Yep. Just like the Gulf War gas mask guys. I mean, I could go out and take a whole war and get the nation to believe it if I can get my TV into one of their houses.
I will never forget that.
Jake was the best.
Oh, that night.
Yeah, we should show that. You're looking at it now, you see how fucking fake it is. And it's like, we bought it hook, line, and sinker back then. I mean, what are they even really doing? Everything that we have going on now, back then, and everything we've been taught has all been lies to hide the truth and manipulate us into whatever they want us to do.
So here we have
our kids over to them so they can go blow up people and get themselves blown up. I mean, it's sick.
So here we have the Lee Harvey Oswald camera. It's the CBS camera, and when you read the article, there was only 4. 1 and 2 were there. 3 and 4 were there. This is camera 4, and camera 3 was there. That's the ones we saw in that film. Camera 1 and 2, they were left behind at the Trade Mart where the president was supposed to be scheduled to make a speech. So if there's only 4 cameras on scene and 2 of them aren't even there, who did the first filming of that one camera way over here? Because that's 1 camera, 2 cameras, and then 3 cameras when you get this other view, wherever it was.
Oh, baby.
So there's 3 camera views, not to mention, like I said, the guy that's higher elevation.
And each position is perfect for each scene. If you look at it.
Absolutely.
This is the 4th wall right here. We're in like Seinfeld's apartment, and this is the 4th wall.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and the car was a prop coming in. You only see the front bumper of it. That is not even a whole car.
Okay, so now the last thing I wanted to mention on this, there's a guy called the Umbrella Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he's famous because everyone else doesn't have an umbrella. It's Texas, it's summertime or whatever, and or not summer, but it was warm out.
He's got an umbrella, and Oswald's got a sweater.
Right.
Over a shirt.
Right? And supposedly, like, there's a lot of conspiracies about how, having an umbrella was right at the moment that the car, he got shot, right where, the umbrella guy's standing. But where is it, Brian? I got to find it.
I think he was added in as part of the script to give it more substance and validity. Like, well, we have this mysterious guy with an umbrella, and now we got to find him and question him and blah, 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 and drag that little mystery out, too.
It's another rabbit trail to run you all around.
But I brought him up for a specific reason for Brian. Let's see if I have the right place here.
Let us call him the Umbrella Man.
Did you name the Umbrella Man?
Yes. You can see him in the certain
I think it's
Dallas, standing right at the location where all the shots come into the limousine. Can anyone?
Where is it? Oh, shoot.
Look, you know what it reminds me of? You know how they have markers on stage for people when they're performing where they got to stand? What if he was like a signal? Okay, when you see the umbrella go up, you'll know that's when we get this or do that. You know what I mean?
Right. That's what some people are saying.
Mhm.
Here, but listen to this. This is for Brian. It's about minute 56 in.
Because it's a beautiful day.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Everyone knows.
You like that, Brian? I'm researching the JFK, and then they say that.
There is so much content on the JFK stuff, guys. I mean, even when we did this first, second, and third live streams on it, you know, we're still today uncovering more stuff. You know, I know I uncovered the whole flower thing. You know, I knew something wasn't right with those flowers, but I never dug into it the way I did on this show. Yeah, this has been a lot of fun. Gosh, we probably still go on and on.
So the Kennedys aren't going to come and save us?
I guess not, right?
No.
I'm out of those days, Brian. You know that.
He's not dead. He survived. Look, it's him in the back row.
Was it was Vincent Fuchs? I think they used to say that guy is. So.
Look, if you don't stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. You need to stand for truth. That's the way it is, guys. And when you stand for truth and you put yourself in line with truth and you're flowing with truth, the truth flows to you. And this bullshit just rides right around you. And they can't have that power over this. Is deception. And they're all being deceived through the tell lies to your vision. I mean, those crazy 2 years that we went through. Sure, you probably knew people who were sick, right? Everybody gets sick. There's this thing called the flu season, or at least it used to exist. But the only place you saw it was on the tell lies to your vision, where they can control the numbers.
Yeah, nothing was going on. Nothing was going on out there. We checked.
Exactly. We all checked. I got so much stuff. Brian got kicked out of restaurants. I got kicked out of test sites. You know, cops chasing us down, everything, because we were exposing it, you know, and they don't want that. They don't want people to see through the veil. But that's the way it is when you're in line with truth. You don't buy these narratives anymore. You start to really analyze them a lot more. You start to realize how many narratives are tied to certain things, like the globe. You know, a lot of people don't want to accept it because, you know, they have invested their careers into this space stuff and everything like that. It has to be real, right? But it's not.
Looks so fake, it must be real.
I've heard that before.
You know, and people want to be a part of something that they think is real, and they use our emotions against us, patriotism, feeling like we're giving to the community or, you know, participating in some type of, you know, space race and all this stuff like that. It's all bullshit. It's all BS. And we've wasted too much time falling for this BS. And it's time now. The Mandela effect is showing us this is all bullshit. You thought it was all like this and that. Well, clearly, you know, now it's like this over here, and you got to figure this all out. You know, our reality is talking to us right now. If you think that's God, the creator, or something else, there's some kind of cyclical nature or something's going on, and we seem to be at the end of something. Mm-hmm. And something's at that end. There's a crescendo. It's like I said, I feel like this is like the orchestra warming up, getting everybody ready, tuning here and there, and everybody's like, oh, I heard that. Did you hear that? Didn't sound like that. Do you remember that? Blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden they start playing, and we're going to be shocked because it's like we didn't even know the orchestra was going to play. If that makes any sense. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where I'm at. I don't know what I'm on. I don't know what time it is. I don't know where I'm at in the timeline. I mean, we're lost at sea, right where they want us, under admiralty law.
I know I'm not losing my mind. I know that.
That's right.
And I'm not flying through space on a spinning ball. I know that.
And I'm not an insignificant little space, and everything does revolve around me because I'm
Amen. Amen.
And I know I don't believe
How are you?
Thing they put on the screen. Not one thing they put on the screen do I believe is real.
Yeah. No. The whole reason the TV was invented.
Everything's fake until proven otherwise.
Look what they did the second they invented the radio. They hoodwinked everybody into think we were getting alien invaded. Took us right to space, put us in fear, and everybody bought it. It's like, oh, we were just joking. We just want to see how awesome our little invention really is. And what do they do when the TV comes? War of the Worlds, you know, the movie or all these other false flags and stuff. Oh my God, the false flag thing.
And it's funny. I this app Nextdoor, which everyone seems to have now. To me, I believe it. Number one, I think a lot of it
says there's friggin' coyotes wandering through their yards and stuff, and I'm like, there were never coyotes in Lowell. Like, there's not even anywhere for them to come from in Centerville. And people are like, coyotes in my yard, and I'm like, there's no fucking coyote. I didn't even know what a coyote looked like till I started going to Steffi's house, where there are coyotes. Like, there were no coyotes in Centerville, or whatever you want to call that place.
If you had coyotes,
that Nextdoor thing, it seems like there's a bunch of either trolls or bots or whatever, and a few real people, and then they just get everyone to fight over this same kind of stuff. And so that was the what do you call it? The anniversary of the Challenger explosion, and somebody put, "Oh, I have this memory of," and they had the picture, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's such a sad day." And all I did was I just posted a link to that video you can find online that proves they're all still alive. It was all BS.
Oh yeah,
get muted on that thing. So,
yep. And that's another thing. The space shuttle goes up, the teacher died, all this stuff like that. People were, dare I say, the Sandy Hook.
No, we don't want to say that.
All that stuff. People were emotionally torn and devastated. All this stuff. It's emotional abuse and trauma-based mind control is what they're using this thing for. And then
Brian showed us that guy in the wheelchair at that Boston thing. There's no way he could have survived, and there was no blood trail behind him.
No,
what the hell?
And just like a month or two later, he's out there throwing out the first pitch at the Red Sox game, and then he's at the Bruins game. Like, he's in an indoor Boston sports arena after he just had his legs blown off at the marathon. Like, like the first thing I'd be doing once I.
That's when they introduced the princess actors to us. They've had them this whole time.
And the thing in Connecticut that you were talking about, and the guy laughing after his daughter allegedly doesn't exist anymore because of what's
Robbie Parker. I got something for
her name. Her name was Emily. Her name was Emily, Emily, and now it's Emily, Emile.
I'm a lie.
Mandela.
It's a lie.
I'm a lie.
Oh, baby. Everything that's been hidden from us is being shown. It's just, it's part of whatever this is. Whatever this, everybody at some point says to themselves, why am I here? What is the purpose of all this? Is this it? Well,
another thing that Brian brings up is like, where are all those people at every of these anniversaries, these horrific events going, I sure miss grandma. I sure miss my husband. Your Facebook feed.
Especially 9/11. 9/11. It's way different than these other ones too, because there's supposedly 3,000 people. Like, where are these people?
Yeah. But see, nobody questions that except people like you who've delved into it and dug it apart and pulled out all this stuff. You went deep into that stuff, researching. I've never heard anybody come out with that stuff and dig as deep as you did. But
yeah, a bird can break the nose off of a plane, but it can go through steel buildings like nothing.
Not only it didn't make any sense to the critical thinker, with this whole thing, but the people who were so invested in this lie would do the job for these people and defend it,
right.
Just like the last 2 crazy years that we went through. They didn't have to do anything.
Brian,
the people who bought the narrative to do it to us, they became we were their enemy, whatever. We turned on each other. You know what I mean? They didn't have to have troops come in, fire one shot, tease anybody. No, none of that. We all did it to ourselves. Because people like me and Brian and you didn't put up with it, and we stood our ground, and that was not an easy task to do. Mm-hmm. But you kind of got used to it as you went along. It was disturbing. It was like living in a bizarro world, and I didn't even know if it was ever going to end. But the point being is that they have too much control. It's too easy for them to control us. It's horrible, and it's just like. Once all this is revealed, you can better see what the purpose was for, like, behind all this, the motive and everything, because it's huge. You know what I mean? Like, why are we living in this false, fake ass shit, and basing all of our decisions off of it and raising our children this way and the stuff they have us eating and stuff. We have no problem going out and buying poison for ourselves and killing ourselves and all, giving ourselves a short lifespan and everything. As long as it's FDA approved and you got the money to cover it, it's all good. I've told people to their faces how they make aspartame and not to eat that stuff. And they're like, I like the way it tastes.
Hey, Brian, could you tell everyone that they haven't heard the story that the maintenance guy at the towers is the only guy that had a key to let everyone, like they had locked everyone in? How does that go? Because you talked to him, right?
Yeah. The Willie Rodriguez, who's allegedly the last guy out of the World Trade Center, and supposedly dove underneath a fire truck when the buildings came down, and then he was buried under the rubble, and they pulled him out. But the whole story is that he allegedly had this magic key, the one key that could open all the doors in the buildings, and he supposedly kept running in and out of the towers, unlocking the doors for the firefighters. Then he supposedly got trapped in a caged elevator that was filled with water, which is hilarious.
All of this is filling in the narrative, okay?
His name's not Bruce Willis?
No, and he ends up calling me in the middle of the night one night to try and convince me how wrong about what I am saying about 9/11. And it's like, then he starts telling this whole fake story that everybody already knows, and I know is complete fucking bullshit. And it's like, well, why the fuck are you calling me? You're the last guy out of the World Trade Center. Like, why are you calling me if I'm so wrong about what I'm talking about? I'm just some guy out here with a podcast that maybe 20 people listen to,
Yeah.
That's why.
And that's the thing. Like, if he had this magic key, why would he give it to the fire department? Why would they?
He got my cell phone. And where did you get my cell phone number? He got my cell phone. I didn't get my cell phone number out. People had my Skype thing, and that was it.
You got on their radar with all that stuff. I mean, there's no getting around the evidence that you had, and you weren't going to lay down and roll over on any of it, whatever they hit you with, And I mean, you're definitely a soldier in this, whatever we're going through. You know what I mean? And I think we all chose to come here to be a part of all this at this time. I think some of us came here because we were supposed to, and I think some of us chose to come here maybe to help in some way. And I feel like I'm really on my purpose, live streams and expose the deceit and bring the truth out.
What's really cool is lately, and like definitely the last year, maybe closer to 2 years, my mom watches the show all the time and is in the chat all the time now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is really good.
Totally knows the Mandela effect is real. Is very highly skeptical of NASA now at this point. So it's really cool.
That's great.
That is really great. And I know your mom watches, Jen. Obviously, your mom's come on streams without the stuff, so you know how cool that is. And I know
my mother-in-law watches, but not my mom. But she listens to me. But my mother-in-law is watching, if she's watching.
It's a great feeling.
My mom called in again the other night.
Did she?
Mom called in for like 45 minutes the other night.
Nice, yeah. It was hard for all of us in the beginning. There was that video out called I made that there's a truther in every family, and I'm a truther in mine. And we're so spread out, and we go to our family first with all this information because they're closest to us, our family and friends and stuff. And it always, for every one of us, always seemed like they were the hardest to get through to. It wasn't until we went outside of our circle of family and friends and met strangers on the internet that we never even met in person to engage and share and collect all this stuff and be able to express our. I remember all the people that would get in Brian's chats, and I was one of them who was just so excited to be in the chat. We never wanted the show to end. Somebody call in because we were having such a good time, relating to each other with the truth and understanding each other and feeling that fellowship. And it's quite an amazing journey. I'm not scared. I was a little worried in the beginning with all this stuff, especially before I got to Flat Earth, when I was really learning how down and dirty the governments are and what they're doing and trying to achieve. But on the other side of it now, where I'm at with it all, I find it to be very, very exciting. And I know that I'm.
Do you remember when you transvestigated yourself?
I had to. People were, you know how people are. They're like, you're a dude. Benchmarks and birth certificates.
Oh my God.
I took my shirt off.
I still talk about this. Oh yeah, that was something, and we screenshotted. Somebody grabbed it too.
Oh my God, you screenshotted it? I haven't.
It was on a stream after that. You had your bra on, but it was hilarious.
It was a sports bra and yoga pants.
That was so funny. I was going to say something, but that just knocked right out of my head. I just got that visual from that stream.
Many channels ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah, no kidding. Wow.
You remember that guy, Truth Smoker, that used to jerk off to my streams?
Oh God, I don't know this
don't
one.
even mention that weirdo.
I'm sorry, I don't know this one.
We won't even go there. Please.
Thank God I don't know that one.
He had some kind of sick, weird love for you. It was weird.
Well, my first guy was crazy, and he talked about cutting everyone's heads off, so that was cool. So there's that. And I got in a fight with him because I was sticking up for you. Yeah, Tony. I stuck up for.
It was Tony, Crazy Tony.
Yeah, I was on a stream with some weird cowboy guys, and he came on there and started dissing you and the Mandela and all that stuff, and so I stuck up for you. They threw me out, and then he started trolling me and saying all kinds of crazy stuff.
There was something really off with that dude, man. He was psycho. He got off on putting people down, but there was a group of people, even some of my old subscribers I found over in his chat, agreeing with it. It's like there are people that like misery loves company. And if you're going to bash somebody, they'll get in on it. They might watch your show all the time, but they want to hear what this guy has to say about you. And he was really sick. I mean, sick.
Yeah, the old days. But yeah.
He was just trying to save the children, Jen.
Yeah, right.
Remember Joey Rocha? Joey Rocha used to be cool, and then he
Oh God, I did shows with that guy. I had a great talk about volcanoes with him. How about that? Yeah, and how they were all fake. Yeah. He was always nice to me, and then he just lost his mind.
They're faking stuff or why they're faking it, but
he totally lost his mind. Do you remember when he posted a picture of himself naked on Facebook with a cowboy hat over his penis, and then he tagged Nathan Thompson in it?
Yeah. And he would get in my chats and always try to hit on me, like sexy Truth Seeker 69. I'm like, would you just stop?
That one made Jeannie laugh down there. She remembers that one.
And he tags Nathan Thompson, and Nathan Thompson, who likes to strip naked in front of men when they're about to get in a fight. So I mean,
yeah, that'll throw you off.
Yeah, Brian used to play the horrible. He would say, "Okay, here's our homework," and he'd make us watch some horrific thing. One time, it was these two weird dudes, like oiled up exercising. Like, what was that, Brian? I don't remember. It was. Yeah, it was. Oh, come on. It was two guys. They were in Speedos or something, and one was like anti-flat.
Oh, no. What was that? Oh, I don't know.
You do know. He used to make us watch this horrible stuff. I like going to gouge my eyes.
It was that fucking guy, the London For Real guy, was doing some shit. Yeah. It was him and some other guy. They were like, looked like they were going to tap the skins.
I think I remember something. I remember saying something to you like, did I really have to see that? What did I just watch? Why am I watching this?
Look, I'm going to say it here and now. There's no one that needs to be shirtless on a live stream. I don't care how hot it is in your area. It's just never a good look. And especially the guys that'll be laying in their bed. It's just like, no, thank you.
Who's doing that? I would definitely be.
No bueno.
Yeah, no bueno. Yeah. No, there's a lot of live streamers that like to go shirtless. It's weird. I don't know why. It's the weirdest thing.
You like to look at their hairy navels?
I don't even get that far. I can't, like, if you're going to be naked on a live stream, what's the point? Goodbye. Yeah. How'd we get here? We were talking about JFK. Shit.
I don't know what else I have. Oh, I had the Razzle Dazzle and the ships. Okay, so we kind of glazed over that. I'll go back into a screen share just really quickly. But they have Razzle Dazzle airplanes as well, because some of them were aircraft carriers. Where the hell did it go? Oh, Dazzle, here it is. So yeah, here's the planes. Never learned about these either.
Because that makes so much sense.
I think I would remember.
I'd never see that in the sky.
Never. No, it's no. Not even in a movie.
What a camouflage. I can't even see the plane.
Yeah, it's bizarre. Bizarre. Like this one here is an aircraft carrier thing, I guess. So they had the planes that way too. And a helicopter. Well, you need that.
Come on.
Course, right? Forget the helicopter. And they do this in modern days too. You can find modern Razzle Dazzle ships and stuff. Let me see. Maybe I put in. And they got the newer ones now that have it too. A little bit more different and elaborate. Some of them are more colorful. I don't know if it's just a throwback or they could really actually camouflage, like throw somebody off with these things. But
yeah. Are they saying that they were colored back then too?
No, they were all black and white back then. There were a few that had some lighter colors, like a yellow mixed in with them, like kind of like this one here that I just clicked on. I don't know where the hell it just went. Yeah, I don't know what I just did. Let me go back page. Okay, there you go. See this yellow one, this modern one?
Mm-hmm.
They had a few older ones that had like a yellow and a pale blue mixed in, but most of them were this black and white thing. Like, here's a modern one. This is like a destroyer. Oh, shoot. Where the heck did it go? Whatever. Let me go
16
back.
Alpha says that they see that in their migraines.
I'll zoom in on it. There you go.
Spiegelin.
Yep.
You know what that
I'm trying to think of some other.
Mare in German, which is
nice.
what it says in the movie. If you
nice
watch the dub version.
And I like how they always tell us, no, it's the way it was in the book. I never read I didn't know there was a book. I only saw the movie. Come on.
Yeah, fuck
book. No book. Nobody read that book. Give me a break.
No, exactly.
So they used this jackwagon idea in World War I, and it was lesser extent in World War II. When I talk to vets, and World War I, they'll be pretty old, but even just talking to World War II vets, I asked them, "Have you ever heard of dazzle camouflage?" And most of the time, I would get no. And then I noticed in some older movies when they would show like a fleet of ships, you would see like mostly all normal looking gray ships, and then the one dazzle in there in the middle, like middle or to the front. I sent you one of those before, Brian. Remember? I'm like, check this shit out.
Yeah. Check this ship out.
Yeah, the shifty ship over here,
sucking on a banana.
Sucking Satan's banana.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I didn't say it right. You're right.
All right, so I think
Satan's banana.
You gotta get that on a shirt, Jen, so I can say it's banana.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have like
is Satan's banana upside down, or is it like the old reality banana?
Depends how you want it. They'll give it to you upside down.
I don't want it.
Yeah, no bueno. Hey, Brian, do you remember we did that show about? I showed you my design for the critical listener, learner, thinker. It was a design for a hat. I play on my channel occasionally. It was you, Jen, Steve, and I said I wanted to stop calling ourselves truthers, and I wanted to call us critical listeners, learners, and thinkers. And you said it spelled out clit and
oh yeah. We're a bunch of clits.
That's we. And I had a little firmament guy in it. Yeah.
Well, I remember I was saying on one of your shows, Brian, I think I was drinking some Fireball this night. I drink Fireball a lot. I said, we were talking about our names. I said, and this is when I was using TTS 69 on that channel that I had. And I was like, well, if you put an I between the T's, it's Tits 69.
And I'm drinking Fireball tonight. Woo, somebody grab my tits.
Oh, man. Those were the days. We did a 7-hour live stream together one time, me, you, and Steve. And I think when we got done that on whoever channel it was, we went over to your channel or something. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, part of it, too, is like you say, there's so few people that you can talk about these things with. We almost didn't want to hang up the phone. You know what I mean? We want to just stay on and keep talking because we felt somewhat normal.
Call in or I'm going to shut the show down. Somebody call in.
Yeah, he used to threaten us.
Somebody call in. We don't want them to end the show. Fine, fucking I'll call in.
Yeah, if I'm out of things to say, If I'm out of shit to say.
I called in.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. He'd see me in the chat and he'd throw me a link behind, like in Messenger. And I'm like, dude, I'm in bed. Whatever. Oh, my gosh. Well, I had a great time tonight, Brian. Thank you so much for hanging out with us and bringing all this evidence on JFK and all this good stuff. I mean, I had a really good time.
Cool. Yeah, thanks. Me too.
I did too. It was fun talking to you. Feels like old times in here. It was really nice. So,
Brian, what do you have coming up in the near future? Anything you want to promote, tell us about, or anything? Any trips, shows, interviews?
Yeah, so I'm only doing like 1 or 2 shows a week, mostly now because I'm working a little more. But I'll be live Sunday at 11:30 Eastern. Dave Murphy is going to be joining me for a Mandela Effect conversation. So that'll go down on my channels. And then I have a couple live streams, roundtables that I'm going to be planning on doing in the next few weeks. And
nice.
other than that, I'm typically doing a show either every Saturday or Monday night. I tend to do a live stream. And, I just did one Monday, I think, like 5-hour stream the other night, and I'm working till like, you know, we don't close till 2 a.m. So I work really late nights now. So some of my shows are later. I'm doing shows at like 10 or 11 at night sometimes now.
Right.
Yeah.
So how many channels do you have up now? Like you have Dose of Reality. Yeah, I remember you had Brian Staveley 1, 2, 3, and who knows how many.
Oh, I got the main one, which I renamed, which is now Dose of Reality with Brian S. Staveley. I wanted to have both names in the title. And then I got my backup, which used to be Brian Staveley 3. It's called the Dose of Reality Show. That's got like 4,000 subscribers. And then I have another backup that has like 2,000 subscribers, and then all the other ones have been terminated. Pretty much.
So I have your link in the description below to Dose of Reality, and when they click on that channel, you can get to all these other linked channels in there, right? Because I only have this one channel in the description. I want to apologize about that, but they can find all your other channels through this one channel, correct?
Yeah.
Click on a video on that channel. You should have it all in the description.
Yeah, if they click that, right when you get there, there's a blue link that'll bounce them to my website. I'll just screenshot. Hang on.
And I like when I did the first backup channel, and I told Brian, and my name is Ceiling Fan Man, and my backup is Ceiling Fan Man 2. He's like, really? That's like the best you can come up with for your backup name.
So when you go to my channel, this is my main channel. But of course, like I said, all my 9/11 stuff and stuff to do in the last 4 years, they don't allow that on here. Yeah. I've had over 600 videos deleted off YouTube. But if you just click this link, you'll see it'll bring you to a page on my website that has all my links: Rockfin, Odyssey, TikTok, YouTube backup channels. So here's the main. Here's the 2 backups I just talked about. It'll bring you right there, and it's got emails and merch and social media.
Do you host that channel? Like, how do you have that website up? You pay a server?
Yeah, I've had that. That's where I started doing broadcasts.
Yeah.
Was through my website. So I've had that website since 2010.
I see.
Yeah, and so this is my backups.
Nice. I like how organized you have all your stuff and everything. You've been through it, just like we all have with getting our channels taken down and hit left and right and all this crazy stuff. They haven't made it easy.
My second biggest channel was The Real News Online. It had 5,000 subs. They deleted that and my Facebook on the same day, and it was the Facebook that I had been using like through my whole truther journey. So all these people, I woke up one morning, they were both gone. I was like, fuck me.
Wow.
Yeah. Feels like they burnt your house down.
Yeah. And then for anybody, I do my show Friday at this time, so that's 6 p.m. West Coast. So that's where I'll be again this Friday.
And Ceiling Fans Man channel link is also in the description below, guys, as well. And if you are interested in a hoodie or a t-shirt for Meltology, it's all the details are in the description below, and also my email as well. And I'm going to get ready to get out of here, guys. I thank you so much. I had a lot of fun, and I hope we can do this again sometime in the future, because there's just so much stuff that we can cover.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jen. And nice to talk to you, Brian. It's nice.
All right, you too, man. All right, guys.
Thank you. Hey, guys, let it not be said that we stood by and did nothing. I love you guys, and we are going out with a great song tonight. I love you, and we're out of here.
God's eyes, but I seen the devil's. He walks with man on earth at different levels. He knows the king we serve, so he hates and meddles and prays that we all burn and turn to rebels. He tried to get my soul, but I'll never settle. I walk this lonely road from the burbs to ghettos. I'll take the gift bestowed and return a vessel. I am the one they chose. Yeah, yeah, yeah. rebellious in all ways, been sinners since birth. He knew that it would happen when he put us on this earth. We demonize religion, brought corruption to the church. We know the price of everything, but we don't know the worth. We spend all of our time idolizing false prophets. Comparison's the enemy, stop watching others' pockets. The social system's broken, we divide on every topic. They fabricate the truth and we all monetize the gossip. We know the problems and we see them but don't want to change. We're desensitized to every issue cause they let us profit off of people's pain. In this dystopian age, we are the game that he plays. And all the evil, deceitful people should shake our faith. I never seen God's eyes, but I seen the devil's. He walks with man on earth at different levels. He knows the king we serve, so he hates and meddles and prays that we all burn and turn to rebels. He tried to get my soul, but I'll never settle. I walk this lonely road from the burbs to ghettos. I'll take the gift bestowed and return a vessel. I am the one they chose. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Our God is an awesome artist. In perilous times we seek his grace as the world and the times we face turn fake in the face of the devil's mirages. In the midst of the pain just stained in the media's push of all this garbage, I pray that you keep your faith as the whole world breaks and the real get disregarded. It's about time that we take it back. The weight's too great for the camel's back. Strong men made life an easy task, and now the weak men feminize every act. In the church, in the workplace, every class, on the television screen, in the state of rap. All virtues gone and it's fade to black. We in hell on earth and it's gon' collapse. Integrity's lost, hedonism, we incentivize gods on the way the revolution will be televised. Gone too far, don't know if we can rectify. At those gates we will testify. So I'm saying it now so they counteract clockwise. We are living in times where the wicked is all rise. The intelligent fall while the stupid is all thrive. And the real get pushed aside. Yeah. I never seen God's eyes, but I seen the devil's. He walks with man on earth at different levels. He knows the king we serve, so he hates and meddles and prays that we all burn and turn to rebels. He tried to get my soul, but I'll never settle. I'll walk this lonely road from the burbs to ghettos. I'll take the gift bestowed